Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing out there? This is fantastic. Man, it's so good to see everybody. Oh, it's wild. I haven't been live in so long. So long it's been since I've done a live stream. So I hope everyone is doing well out there. How are you all doing? How's everybody? How is everybody's holiday going? I hope everybody is staying safe. I hope everybody's having a fantastic time, whether it's whether you're staying home or you're on the road or to meet family. So I hope everybody is doing fan friggin' tastic. Hi, good to see everybody. And if you're new here, welcome. I am JL, and this is, of course, Bridge the Divide. I haven't done a live stream in a minute, and I really wanted to do something before the end of the year and see if I could kind of like shore up, shore things up, and say hi to everybody. I haven't really had an opportunity to connect with everybody, and I've been so insanely busy with with all the stuff that's going, all the stuff going, plus the holidays on top of it just makes everything crazier. And I wanted to, but I wanted to make sure I set time aside to hang out. It's kind of weird. I wasn't 3 minutes late. I had an intro. But I did. This is what's crazy. I don't really have a plan. Mostly, this might be kind of a retrospective, kind of like a look back at like 2023, because I know that with Christmas, with the Christmas and with New Year's, people are just going to be like crazy busy, have their thing going on. So I wanted to kind of get it in before before the holidays really kicked off and people started driving for Christmas Eve and such. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. I don't know what's going to go down. I have a lot of options going around that could put something. There have been invites that have been set out, and hopefully people might stop by. I have no idea, and I honestly I don't even know how long I'm going to go, because I mean there are some things to talk out. There are some things to talk about. Yeah, Clive knows I saw that comment. There's some things that we could talk about, some stuff that went down on the with the channel, some drama here and there that was kind of fun. It was a personal stuff, stuff with with me, but nothing with anybody else. Things have been pretty chill, to be perfectly honest. There hasn't been as far as I can tell, as far as I know, there hasn't been like any like like this crazy thing that happened. So for 2023 compared to 2022, you know what I think it was? I think the pandemic really exacerbated everything, which is why people were kind of like lashing out, and people were obviously short of temper. And that's why we had so much drama in 2021 and 2022. We had so like just chaos going on. So but 2023 has been chill. I guess people are back to work, people are doing their thing, and that's pretty much it. But before we get started, let me say hi. I'm going to run down the list. I'm going to go as quick as I can before more people pile in, because I see people coming in. But I want to go through the list and say hi to everybody that I see in the live chat. I see everybody. So fantastic. First and foremost, Elizabeth S. says, woohoo, it's been forever. So excited for this one. Thank you so much, Elizabeth S. It has been a minute. What can I say? It's just been busy, but I wanted to make time because I haven't got an opportunity to hang out with y'all and catch up with everybody, see how everybody's doing, let you know what's going on with the channel, and some, and also there's some stuff that's coming up different in 2024, some plans that I have, some larger plans. I have some plans for going on the road and doing some more road stuff out there, and kind of cool stuff. I have some stuff that I want to do, and this is the best way. What end of the year? This is pretty much it. So thank you, Elizabeth, for hanging out. Casey Cooper, well met. Good to see you, Casey Cooper. Thanks so much for being here. Raven Darkstar as well says hello, everyone. Dr. Nimrod says bah humbug. Good to see you, Dr. Nimrod. Thanks so much for hanging out. Nemo813, welcome. Good to see you. It's Probing Time 666. The devil made me do it. Says hello, all this should be interesting. I hope it's interesting. It could be fucking boring. It really could. He looks bored. How bored does he look? And he's been standing in the same spot for like a year and a half. So I guess we'll find out. Red Ink, good to see you. Says hello all. Good to see you, Red Ink. Lori Marie as well. Hello. Clive Wells. He says, this where jail preaches his spiritualist beliefs. No, that was on the previous stream, the one that doesn't exist. But good to see you, Clive Wells. Thanks so much. I thought that you, above all, would appreciate the best sum up of the scientific method I think there is. That's pretty much I love it. That's pretty much the scientific method. I love it. I thought you would appreciate that. No, I did not wear the shirt just for Clive Wells. But Raven Darkstar, good to see you. Thanks so much for hanging out. Appreciate it. Hiveside, good to see you. Business to you. Fantastic to have you in the chat. Charlie Welch, the only man on the internet you never make a bet with. Good to see you. Welchie, Thanks so much for being here. Pinworm as well. Good to see you. Pinworm says hello, Fast and Furious live chat. Thank you, see. Thank you. Stephen Lee is here. Good to see you, Stephen. Thanks so much for being here. Javier Hara as well. Thank you so much. Rasheen, good to see you. Wrote an last name, Gabba Gabba to you, sir. Spooky Bedhair, good to see you. And Jackalope Herdmaster as well. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Colin, always a pleasure to see you, good sir. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Martin H., Cindy Johnson, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I had an intro. Howard Reynolds, praise the beard. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that, Howard. Oh, let me see who else we got. And yeah, we'll be mentioning that. Exceptionally Average, good to see you. This is my entire family is in Japan. I'm here alone, and I love and miss them. But yeah, this is going to be the best Christmas ever. Fantastic, exceptionally. Good to see you, bud. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Martin H. says, Wellesley Old Fruit. Nice. Foxy Raccoon says, Murray Trimbo. Good to see you, Foxy. Fangirl98, always a pleasure, says, hey, JL, and everyone, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you, Fangirl. Thanks so much for being here. Hellsen says, I've been gone for a month from the internet. What's the new news on the movie? There's all kinds of cool stuff. So some stuff we can talk about, some stuff that we cannot. Oh, goodness. And look at that. Thank you so much. Stephen Lee with a $20 super chat says $20 for a less than 6K-year-old flat stationary chemtrail 5G filled New Year. Fuck yes. I absolutely love it, Stephen. And you actually kicked it off because I stole an idea from Johnny O. I have danglies for my beard. I have beard danglies. Actually, I'm going to do that one. So it's like that. Should I do that one? Should I do the slow one? I do that one, so I can't figure out which one. But thank you so much, Stephen Lee, for the super chat. For big super chats like that, I'm going to use the lighty ones. I'm not going to do that. Should I do the slow one? I think I should do the slow one. Before I put that in, so thank you, Stephen Lee. Appreciate that very, very much. You rock. Thank you so much. Very, very generous of you. See, Fangirl98, thank you so much for $3.99 super sticker. Appreciate that, Fangirl. You rock and very generous. Thank you. Diver Dan, Navy Vet, good to see you. Says sub via Irish Demon. Cool stuff, brother. I've become a fan. Merry's holiday season, mate. Thank you so much, Diver Dan. Scuba, are you friends with Scuba Steve? I was about to say, are you friends with Scuba Steve, Diver Dan? I'm very curious. Let me know. But thank you so much for being here, bud. Let me see here. Oh, Maynard saves for $5. Says happy Festivus for the rest of us. If I spend my money, my wife can't take it in divorce. That is a wonderful plan, good sir. Thank you very much. Very generous. You rock. Turing Test 2 has been a member for 28 months. Thank you so much, Turing Test, for all that support. You rule, dude. Hope you're having a safe holiday. Jake Nelson for a $5 super chat says, love your work, JL. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Appreciate that so very much. You rule. You know, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I'm not forgetting. I've got them starred. So, before I'm getting close to the bottom, make sure I'm not missing it. Javier Hara, good to see you. Taipan23 says, good day from down under, and a good friend of Mrs. Big Cat. Good to see you, Taipan23. And, definitely one for the Big Cat. I only got to work with Schrodinger one time. And it was Schrodinger and MC2. And I think you all remember that debate that I was on. And Schrodinger was awesome. That dude was amazing. So definitely, if you've got one, I'll be able to pour one out for the Big Cat because we miss him. I wish I'd gotten to know him better. I really do. I knew him by his videos, but I only got to be on one thing where I worked with him, and we had this fantastic chat after that debate, and I wish I'd gotten to know him better. I wish I'd gotten to spend more time with him, because he was a cool dude to know. So, absolutely. All right, make sure I don't fall too far behind. Lucian Darkwolf, good to see you, Lucian. Thanks so much for being here. JD, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here tonight. And I see you are Victoria. Good to see you. Thank you. Enjoy the emojis. I hope you all enjoy the emojis. If you support the channel, if you're a channel member of the Godless Army, you have access to all the emojis I've made for you tonight. So enjoy those. Thank you very, very much. Dragon Sword Kata, good to see you. It says, awesome that I caught this broadcast. Thank you for your service. Well, our intrepid, men and women of our armed forces, there's one. I try to, spread the information. This is what I do. But thank you very much. It means the world. Icarus, good to see you. Says, Frohe Viknachten. Merry Christmas to all the European time zone people. Good to see you, Icarus. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Let me see. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. I see Maynard, Diver Dan, and I caught everybody. Yes. Okay. I think I've caught him. If I miss somebody, I do apologize. So I will try to catch you if I see you. I killed Earl. See, I almost missed I killed Earl. Good to see you. Hello. Good to see you, Chief. Thanks so much for hanging out. Let me see. This guy killed Earl says, I have to mod a debate on MDD, but I couldn't miss this, so I've got one on my phone and one on my computer. Nice. Very cool. All right, so we got for that big super chat, for that big $20 super chat, you get a lighty. Now, let me know. I'm very curious. Should we do, obviously, I don't think let me see. That fast one is just so fast. You know, you can't really see it. I like that one. I like the slow one. I like the slow one. I'm going to do the slow one. So, what do we do here? Let me go here. So, I've got these ones for like the big super chats, and I can put them in my beard. And then I've got little little. I know I don't know if you can hear that. And I've got these ones for the other super chats. So that was 4 already. Or that was 3 already. So Maynard saves for $5. Thank you so much. That's a little dangly. And then we've got what do you think? Purple? I think purple. I've got purple, green, or technically violet. I got violet, green, red, blue, silver, gray. So we'll do that one right there. Fantastic. I like it. Very cool. All right. I see Armageddon's Fire is here. Good to see you. And Aunt Jer says, I will come out of lurk mode just to mess with your I finished all the greetings. Thank you so much, Aunt Jer. I do appreciate that. Demon Orb, good to see you as well. You rock. Look at all these amazing people. Yes, orbs. I have orbs in my beard. Christo Kiernium, good to see you. Says, hey, JL. Hi, folks. Fantastic. Look at all these. Oh, Maynard saves. For $5 super chats, I really appreciate the time you take to break down the morality bullshit along with scholar fiction. You know, it's absolutely funny. I'm thinking gold. I think I have a gold one now. Let's do a gold one over here. So there we go. So it's funny that you say that, Maynard, because and thank you so much for the super chat. You absolutely rule. And Armageddon's Fire. Armageddon's Fire with a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Wow. Here we go. Blue this time. Let's go blue. Oh, first bloody air horn, now blinkies. Yes, blinkies. And now we've got, there we go. Oh, you can't see it. There you go. Okay, so there's going to be more. I've got more blinkies. I got more. See? So I'm going to be lit up. I'm going to be lit up like a fucking Christmas tree by the end of this. All right, so that thing is flaring quite a lot. Turn up your lighting. Let me see. Oh, I really can't turn up my lighting, unfortunately. I really can't. But it is flaring something fierce. But I'll try to space them out. At least you can hear them. All right. It's kind of like oh, I have these from last year. So thank you so much, Armageddon's Fire, for the super sticker, and to go back to what Maynard says. It's funny that you said that because I've been spending some time on Discord, and Darth Dawkins actually called me, and I feel quite honored by this. Called me Skylar Fiction's twin brother who was lost, who was separated from birth. He was like separated at birth with Skylar Fiction. So I took that as a great compliment from Darth Dawkins. That was actually quite entertaining. So I very much appreciate that. Let me see. Mark Caesar, good to see you. Says, lit like a Christmas tree. What are you smoking? I got a bunch of these, so it's going to get interesting. So good to see you, Mark. Thanks so much for being here. And I see Raven Dark says, you're killing me, man. First the bloody air horn, now blinkies. Oh, fuck yeah. It's going to get wild. The J.J. Abrams lens flare beard. I love it. Absolutely do. It's like fucking Star Trek and shit. That transition. Tinker Phil, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Thank you so much, Tinker Phil, and Unlocked. Good to see you. All right. So I've got several stuff. I don't know. I've put out invites. Okay. It's a special occasion. It's just before the holidays. Maybe, just maybe. Mr. Harris, it's good that you apologize, JL. I won't take offense now. Well, it's good. That's good. I don't want anybody to take offense. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be it'll be a Christmas wish. It may take a Christmas miracle for it to happen, but the invites have been sent out. I don't know if it will. I really don't. Time zones being what they are, I have no idea. There's some other individuals who are a little bit closer to me, but, it's hard to say. It really, really is. But I've got stuff, we may talk about stuff. I don't want to jinx anything, Jackalope. I really don't. But I don't know. But like I said, you never know what's possible. I put the feelers out and we'll do that. Now, given this, Fenton Moley, good to see you. Says if we super chat enough, he may look like a Cenobite soon. I probably will if we put him in my nose and my eyelids and shit. And Jackalope Birdmaster, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to put it out in the world and all of a sudden, So I killed Earl. Oh, that is an excellent question. That's the next question. It says, would you consider doing a debate on MDD? The world needs to hear your intellect. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that compliment. I do appreciate that. I don't think James, this is my opinion, and I could absolutely be wrong, but ever since the Nathan Thompson thing went down, I met James. So I met James. I got to know him when I was down in Texas and with Team Skeptic, when Team Skeptic was live debating Nathan Thompson at the tattoo parlor. And so I was there there at the debate, when I was there, and the room was like split between the Flurfs and us with Team Skeptic. And so, I got to know James then. I kind of dug the duty. I think it's all good. But I don't think, but after the Nathan Thompson event, when he was like going to the schools and everything, when he was going to like the school and he got arrested for like, harassing children while they were at recess, I kind of like went off on James, just over line, not to his face, but like kind of online. I was kind of like, I said, this is unbelievable that this guy would do these things and you would still platform him. That you would literally give him, like, you pay him money to show up and be on MDD. So MDD, I lost a lot of respect for. And the biggest issue is, the number one issue is that after that event, I haven't seen a lot of consistency with MDD maintaining a kind of professional atmosphere, or at least like an adult atmosphere. After the events that went down with Matt Dillahunty and watching that go down, when he was doing the live debate down in Texas at DebateCon, and when they set him across from that asshole in that channel, and that dude it was supposed to be like Christianity versus secular humanism, and that dude came out swinging at the fact that at who Matt is in a relationship with. Like, that's how he swung. He was like, his whole argument, his whole opening was, secular humanism is bad because Matt's a secular humanist, and he is in a relationship with Arden. That was his whole attack. He attacked Matt's relationship to attack secular humanism, because in his mind, Matt's relationship is crazy, and secular humanism allows for that craziness. That was the whole shit. And when I saw that, I was like, it felt like Matt got set up, in my opinion. Now, I think he was right to walk out. So, would I ever do a debate on MDD? If they paid me, I would. I don't plan to anytime. And the last time someone challenged me to a debate, they actually went to MDD, went to James, and they were kind of like, hey, I want to debate J.L. Warren on MDD. I want to debate him on this thing. And they wouldn't pick it up. And if you remember correctly, it was, okay, so let me know if you remember, if you know of MDD, that Matt Dillahunty debated a guy named Philip Howard. No, it's Howard, something like that. But it was the guy who was kind of like, the blood drinking lizard people, hollow moon, images everywhere. That guy that like really that, Howard Stirrup. Howard Stirrup was his name. Took me a second to remember that. That guy actually challenged me first. He challenged me, and then nobody would host it. One of the places that he went to host that debate was MDD. MDD wouldn't host it, and I don't think they were going to host it was because I'm too small, because my channel's too small. And so they weren't going to host me there. But so then they hosted him against Matt. And Matt was like, what is this, like, unchecked mental illness? Why are you platforming this? This is really grotesque. And, Matt left. So Maynard saves for $5 super chat, says, MDD is trash. James is a grifter. Good for you, JL. Okay, case off. Casey, you have, I think that deserves a red one. Let's do a red one. Let's do a red one over here. So James, I don't think is a bad guy. I don't think James is a bad guy at all. I think James is doing his best to do what he can to make money, and he's maximizing, his opportunities to make money off the debate circuit, which I can't blame him. I honestly can't. I cannot blame the dude for doing it. So, what are you going to do? Let me see. I just got a DM. Oh, awesome. There you go, bud. That's how you do it. I think those are all like, I think those are the same clips that are on mine. That's hilarious. That's amazing. Maynard Save says, I got a Christmas bonus. Spread it around. Dude, awesome. Congratulations. Christmas bonuses are always nice. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like, I don't know if I would go on MDD. I don't know if I am welcome. Maybe my channel is too small. But if they like, put a feeler out and they said, hey, we'll pay you to come out like that, sure, I might do that. But it would take a lot. And yeah, the moderation, yes, Steve6464, yes, the moderator, they're really bad at moderating. Their moderation is not great, and not great at all. Yeah, just huge draws like Aaron and Matt get a stipend. That's right. That's true. They get thrown a bone for showing up. Yeah, that was Howard George Stirrup. That was it. So, yeah, terrible. And yeah, and Jerry, you're right. Even worse was James kept the dude on and did a Q&A with him afterwards, which is just atrocious. It's like, that's just, I honestly don't know, Martin H. I don't know how much they would pay. I don't know what that stipend is. It would have to be substantial for me, because to basically to validate their platform, given their behavior, given what they've done in the past, I don't think so. I was just like, I'm not. I don't feel the interest on that. I could debate people, everybody else. Steve6464 says, glad to see you're doing the beard decorating. I thought it would be fun. I bought them last year so I could do them with Johnny, and Johnny never went live, so never got to do it. And so now I figure I will do it. I didn't get to use them last year, so I'm using them tonight. And we got some more blinky ones too. So I got more blinky ones, which are kind of like James Abrams, like JJ Abrams, lens flaring out. So I got more of those for the big super chats. So, but yeah, we got those. No less name says the Professor Dave taking up Ken Hovind was fire though. It absolutely was. Speaking of which, over on Discord, the PNR server, like Politics and Religion, has been bringing Kent Hovind on for regular stages where people go up there and ask him questions. I don't know if they're paying him or not, but that's just really, really creepy to me. It's like, I don't know why anybody would do that. Ooh, and Jared says, HypeSci is setting up a debate platform. Bree, if you're setting up a debate platform, let me know. I want to be on top. I want to hear, I definitely want to know about that. And you see what guests you're bringing on to what debates you're going to be hosting. I definitely want to hear all about that. Fantastic. That'll be awesome. Absolutely. Definitely. But, I haven't done a debate in so long. So TKA did a debate and he's smaller than BTD. Okay, so Azo64 says TKA did a debate and he's smaller than Bridge the Divide. And okay, that's possible. That lends more possibility to the fact that James may not like me very much because I kind of went off on him about the whole Nathan Thompson scenario. That might be it. So I don't know. Fangirl98 says, I'm so sorry. It's 2 a.m. I'm up at 6. So much to do. Everyone have a great Christmas or holidays. Love you all. Love you, Fangirl. Please be safe. Have a fantastic holiday. If you're traveling, definitely stay safe. And we will see you in the next one. Okay? Get some sleep. We'll catch you. That's Dr. Kent Hovind. Kent Hovind Water. Yeah, I hate that guy so much. I don't. He's really not worth the energy to hate him. He's not worth the energy it takes to hate him. But yeah, I maybe one day, I don't know. I would like to do more debates. I really would, but it's really tough to find a platform that's not like total cringe. The only one I know that will take me in a heartbeat is Standing for Truth. They'll take anybody, and Standing for Truth is they've demonstrated bias in the past for their theistic interlocutors. So individuals like Kent Hovind and Nephilim Free and people like that, and they will, they'll put the screws to the kind of like what happened with the moderator and Dave when he was debating James Tour. That whole situation was just nuts because that moderator was freaking crap. And you walk on it, you know where you walk into. I would debate on MC Toon's channel in a heartbeat because MC Toon is amazing. Johnny O's a great moderator, and if Bree does it, I'll definitely be checking that out as well. You know what I miss? I miss the Creaky and Conspiracy Cats. Creaky and Conspiracy Cats, they had a really good thing going on, but it takes a lot of time and effort, and those guys are busy. So, but yeah, if somebody wanted to debate me, I'll show up. I will. They'll have Guts at Gibbon on, and Guts at Gibbon will freaking wreck him. Absolutely rodent. And let me see. Yeah, you think SFT is openly biased to bully. They absolutely are. I've watched those debates. It's like, this is just absolutely out of control. So I Killed Earl says, we would love to have you on Matters Now. Sure. Just send me a message. Absolutely. I think that would be very cool. Yes, Guitar Dog. Actually, I live streamed the debate here on the channel. And that was so that people could watch it without going, because the only other place on YouTube that was streaming it was James Tour's channel. That was it. James Tour was live streaming it to his channel, and I just piggybacked and I streamed the whole thing on mine so that people didn't have to go to his channel and give him a view. So, but yeah, I watched that whole debate, and it was fun. It was awesome, and Dave just friggin' just detonated on the guy. So that was hilarious. Fenton Moley says, is there a need for a debate channel? I feel like a lot of people want a better MDD. I want a better MDD. Absolutely, I want a better MDD. Hell yes. A better MDD would be fantastic. That would be great. That setup and then run with it, but then, really stick to the debates. Stick to what you're going to do. Don't allow people to change topics. Don't do any of that crap. So that's what I want. That's what I want to see. Jake Nelson for a $10 super chat says, JL, you inspired me to make documentaries and movies like I've always wanted to. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That means the world. Thank you so very, very much. You rock. Please, and be sure on the Discord, share your content when you bust something out and you get something in the can, which is a success, and like an absolute success. Yeah, that's a huge thing. That's a huge feather in your cap. You get it in the can, you be sure and share that around. Love to see it. Love to see it. Share it on the Discord so everybody can see it. But well done. Congratulations. Take that jump, man. I can't wait to see what you produce. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Very generous. And, let me see. Aaron Reese for $5 super chat says, taking balls on the chin to liven up the party. Classic jail. Fuck yeah. That's the way we do it around here. That's the way we do it in Oklahoma. Uh-huh. Well, okay, so for that one, I got to do it on this side. Jake Nelson, you get a big lighty one. There we go. Let's do a big lighty one. And for Aaron, there we go. Let's do one down here. Oh, wait, no, come here. Let's do this. There we go. That'll work. But thank you very, very much, guys. Thank you very much, Aaron Reese. Thank you very much for that super chat. I do appreciate that. You rock. Yes. Wrote an last name. Okay, so I don't want to. I have so many more balls. I have so many balls. But let me see here. I've got Robert Bider's here. Says, yo, bitches, merry festive season. Hell yes. So I will say this. Now that we're getting past the holiday, once we get past the holidays, and I cannot wait to hit the ground running on this one, is wrote it no less name, had an idea for a film, and I'm not spoiling anything on it, like nothing at all. This was he and I conversation, and it just the whole thing just kind of coalesced. So I cannot wait to see if we can get some actual traction on this one. It's going to be fantastic. It really, really is. Pinworm, thank you so much for $2 super chat. Says, I'm hearing the Lion is setting one up. That would be very cool as well. If MDED is not going to work for him, then I hope the Lion does it too, because I love Jimmy. I like Matt. I like the work that Matt does. So fantastic. There we go. Pinworm. Got one. I'm getting very festive, aren't I? I have so many more. Oh, man. I'm so glad, because that would suck if I ran out. That really would. So, but thank you very much, Pinworm, for that. Very generous. I appreciate that. And you have a fantastic holiday as well. JL, just after to JL, how big are your blue balls? Not very big. Not very big. Oh, I killed Earl. Interesting. That's fascinating. Don't love Jimmy. He's a horrible human. You may know something that I don't. I'll lay that. You may be aware of something that I'm not aware of. I've watched a lot of Jimmy's content, but you may be aware of something. So if I don't know if it's something we need to hash out here, but if you have your reasons, you have your reasons, and I don't doubt that you have a reasonable reason, especially if you're aware of information that I'm not privy to. So if that's fascinating, that's interesting. I think the Line would be a good platform. Really did. Jimmy has done some shady shit. Okay, so I'm going to lay it out right now. I do not know about any of this. Like what Rodent and Earl have just said is news to me. This is completely new information. I had no idea. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention. Maybe I wasn't. Or maybe I'm not Google alerted to the right things. I'm not sure. So apparently, yeah, Fenton Mully. Yeah, it's just like, damn, I got to do some Jimmy research. I don't know anything. Apparently, I don't know shit either. So, Rodin Illustrates will send you a vid link in Discord later. Please do, sir. Very curious about that. Very curious. Always want to know who you're getting in bed with. Yes, always want to know who you're getting in bed with before you get in bed with them. So, but definitely, I'm seriously curious now. I really am. So, wow. Okay, then I will reserve judgment. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Just got a message from okay, so that's good for January. Fantastic. Just getting stuff set up on Week in Horror side. So, oh man, it has been wild. We are currently in season 5 of Week in Horror, and that is trucking along quite swimmingly. I found out how to get a good work balance when you have a podcast and you have a YouTube channel. You try to balance both of them, and it's really that's the way you find a balance. You do all the logistic work for the podcast for the entire year in advance. That's how you do that. That's how you get that nice balance. So you can focus on the YouTube channel. You do all the thumbnails and all the scheduling and all the picture pulls, all this stuff. You take about a week and you just knuckle down and you do all of it all at once, get it all scheduled and set, and then you cross your fingers and hope that you don't have to change anything along the way. But you don't have to do any work that competes. I don't have to schedule anything out. So yeah. Aaron Reese says, I trust none of what I hear without receipts. Too much information spread like telephone game. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Ember says, there are many secrets in the dark corners of the internet, especially people are pressured into staying quiet. Good point. Excellent point. Yes, I killed Earl. I do have a Discord. The Discord is the Week in Horror Discord, and that link is down in the description, and you can join us over there. So we do there's a channel section for Bridge the Divide. Oh, here we go. This is something new that I can kind of announce to people. So you will notice that if you are in the Discord currently, there's been some slow changes as I'm bringing stuff in. Over the course of the next few months, I will be expanding sections of the Discord to provide more of a platform for people who watch Bridge the Divide and don't watch Week in Horror. So there will be an expanded section there with voice channels and debate channels and just one-on-one discussion areas, general discussion. I will be slowly but surely expanding that outwards, and so that people will have a place to kind of come and enjoy. And there may be like for people who are members or something of that nature, you could do early releases via the Discord. You can come to the Discord channel, you can watch it there and do like a private viewing, and then it'll go live on YouTube. So I'm slowly but surely expanding out the Bridge the Divide section in the Week in Horror Discord. So look for that. You can see those down there in that section. So hope you dig that, and I hope to see people making use of those. Because you can come in here, you can chat instead of just using the text chat and typing all the time. You can just log in and you can just talk to people. So I thought it would be fun. Dr. Nimrod says, my dad used to bring me down Sally's Gap for summer holidays when I was younger. Family was neighbors to Dwyer and McAllister. Very cool. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, Discord. Thank you. I see people kind of joining the Discord. Fantastic. All right. Looking good. So, yep, as far as it goes, I will definitely do debates. If anybody challenges me to a debate, I'll be happy to do it. That pink one is falling out, so I got to put it up. I got to secure this one a little bit more. There we go. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will definitely do a debate. As a matter of fact, I may try to instigate something, or I may try to see if I can find a conversation over on Discord while I'm here, and we may try to find some, if it comes to that, if it does. I don't know if it will, but if it does. So, but I have that option open to me as well. But one thing I did want to do is looking back at 2023. It has been, while I started out initial like that, it's been, I think, a calmer year than the past two. 2022 and 2021 were fucking crazy. They absolutely were. There was a lot of insanity going on around there. And so, but I think 2023 kind of calmed down a little bit. I don't know what's going to come in 2024, but one thing I did want to do, given that instigate, it might have been Foxy. It just might have been. But there were still a lot of crazy things. Oh, Declan says, for me, 2023 has been fucking shit. I do apologize. I am sorry to hear that. Of course, there was a lot of gnarly things that happened in 2023. Everything from everything from the Hawaiian wildfires all the way to the new that new pneumonia that's going around that's affecting dogs. It's spreading around, chronic wasting disease in the deer population. We got all of the shenanigans of politics going on. It's just we got there's so much little nickel and dime shit that's gone on, but there have been some really, really awesome stuff. There's been awesome things that have happened. And you see the screen just lit up even more because I pulled it up because I have lists. Because what better to end a year or to talk about a year in retrospect than lists? Lists are fantastic. Ron DeSantis high heels, Bridget Ziegler, and the chairperson for Moms for Liberty, which is anti-LGBTQ group. Getting having someone accuse her husband of SA, and then in the investigation uncovering sex tapes done with her and another woman. So yeah, the hypocrisy the hypocrisy knows no bounds. Everything is absolutely just every accusation is a confession. It's just absolutely nuts. Let me see here. But here we go. I've got lists. I have lists that I wanted to go down. So this is fantastic. So, yes, Moms for Liberty, a.k.a. Planned Parenthood. Absolutely. Sean Alexander, good to see you, bud. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Will Kent Hovind go to jail in 2024? That would be awesome. It really would. It would, because that man needs to be away from the public. That man is a menace. He is an absolute menace. Oh, thank you, Jackalope. Says I thought I was already in your Discord. Fix that mistake. Well, I appreciate it, bud. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming back. I really, really do. Aaron Reese says it's been a hellacious year, but it finally feels like it's going someplace. Oh yeah. Ember says, I covered her hearing. A student telling her, you're not getting fired for sleeping with another woman. You're fired. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. So nobody ever saw that. If nobody saw that, this was brilliant. So Bridget Ziegler, man, that woman. So you have to admire this, because this was brilliant. And if nobody knows, if nobody's aware of it, I can do this. Oh, wait. Let me do this. Here we go. And let me go here, because this deserves to be seen. Because this was just chef's kiss. Absolutely. Oh, wait. Hang on a sec. I got to make sure that, see, this is how you got to check. Let me see here. So we go here, and all right. And let me go. Oh, damn it. Okay, hang on a sec. I had it, but I friggin' had it. But now I'm going to have to do this, because this is a pain in the butt. Here we go. Oh, yeah, absolutely brilliant. So let me do this, because if you haven't seen this, you are going to absolutely love this, because this kid is a hero. And here we go. Let me know if you can hear this. I'm pretty sure you can. Let me know if you can hear this.
You do not deserve to be on the Sarasota County School Board, but you do not deserve to be removed from it for having a threesome. That defeats the lesson we've been trying to teach you, which is that a politician's job is to serve their community, not to police personal lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, to be extra clear, Bridget,
I love it.
You deserve to be fired from your job because you are terrible at your job. Not because you had sex with a woman. On this board, you have spent public funds that could have been used to increase teacher pay, to change our district lines for political gain, remove books from schools, target trans and queer children.
Oh yeah, she's trash. She's bad. Like she's trash. She's awful. Yeah, she's terrible.
Erase Black history and elevate your political career, all while sending your children to private schools because you do not believe in the public school system that you've been leading. My question is, why doesn't an elected official using our money to harm our students and our teachers for her gain seem to matter as much to us as her having a threesome does. Bridget Ziegler, you do not deserve to be on the Sarasota County School Board, but you do not deserve to be removed from it for having a threesome. That defeats the lesson we've been trying to teach you, which is that a politician's job is to serve their community, not to police personal lives.
100%.
So, to be extra clear, Bridget, you deserve to be fired from your job because you are terrible at your job, not because you had sex with a woman.
Oh, I love it. I friggin' love it. The dude is legend. That was, yes, absolutely legendary. Absolutely legendary. Love it. Soft but audible. Fantastic. You guys can hear it. Great. But yeah, technical difficulties. It's hard to, we want to make sure you share from the right place so the audio comes through. But yeah, it just chef's kiss. How amazing that was. So let me back up real quick to make sure. Yeah, that's when Ember. Thank you so much, Ember, for bringing that. That was fantastic. Pancake, great. Good to see you, Pancake. Thanks so much for being here. And thank you, Pancake, for pointing out where that image of the brain came from. Egg on my face, good sir. Like real literally, I had no idea because I got it like third party. Like someone got it from Reddit, and like a friend got it from Reddit, and that person sent it to me. And then I started looking at it, like, oh, this is really, really wild. And then found out where really that you came up, found out where it really came from. So I accidentally shared creationist propaganda. But good to see you, Pancake. Thanks so much for being here. I did not hear about that. That's wild, Raven. Damn, that's really screwed up. Didn't hear it. Didn't hear anything bad. I didn't hear about that. I'll have to look into it. Let me see here. His graduation speech was great too. Curly hair, awesome. That's fantastic. Hey, Adam Strange is here. Says, "What's up, my Globetards and Heretics? Good to see you, Adam Strange. Thanks so much for being here, bud. Do appreciate it. Pragmatic Crystals here. Good to see you, Pragmatic. Says, loving the beard decor. Thank you very, very much. I do appreciate that. She got smacked down pretty hardcore. Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. You deserve to be fired too, Jose. Oh, wait, you're a jobless bum. I'm assuming that's about, Jose. That might be a reference to somebody else. Not sure. Talking about DeCastro? I'm assuming because that's the only Jose I'm aware of. So, it's got to be DeCastro. Colin, definitely not Cromwell's analysis. Stay live for 15 more minutes, please. I'm rating you. I have you on mute, but I'm trying to send a bunch of people over here. Oh, thank you, Colin. You rock. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Deserve a raise for the threesome. Guitar Dog, that rules. That's awesome. Thor Rasmussen, thank you so much, who has been a member of the Godless Army for 19 months. Thank you so much for that support. Thank you. You rock. I Killed Earl says, I don't like the word globed. I totally get you. I'm not a fan of it myself. I like Flurf. Flurf is my go-to. Thank you so much, Michael Decino, for a $20 super chat. That gets another lighty. Too many people need to be removed from office. M. Johnson being a young Earth creation. Yes, Mike Johnson is just trash. And thinking he is Moses as an example, but he will stay until he gets voted out. Yeah, or until he does something insane or, whatever. But I am not a fan of Michael Johnson at all. There's two people in politics. And thank you so much, Michael, for that amazing super chat. And I'll put another lighty one. Let's go up here. There we go. And I'm not a fan of Mike Johnson at all. Mike Johnson and Ryan Walters are like the bane of our existence as Americans right now. Those guys do not belong anywhere near politics. So, but yeah, Mike Johnson, awful. Oh, God, he's gross. Absolutely. Let me see. I think I Falon Art. Good to see you, Falon. Good to see you. Unlocked it by bad. I thought it was Jose. Sounds like him, but it's not. Oh, okay, gotcha. Let me see who else. Globe Turd. Pinworm says Globe Turd. I can get that. Pat Terry, good to see you. Merry Christmas to you, or Happy Holidays, whichever you happen to celebrate. Appreciate you being here. Trish, good to see you. Says I agree. Absolutely. Mike Johnson. Guitar Dog. Mike Johnson needs to be replaced with Mike Hunt. Yes. Oh, that's hilarious. Oi boy, good to see you, Oi boy. Thanks so much for hanging out, bud. Appreciate you being here. Flirt, yeah, I prefer flirters. I prefer flirts myself. They don't like that term. They really don't. They don't like the term flirts. They absolutely don't. And they are. Oh man, this keeps going from like point to point. It literally keeps going point to point. It's wild. But before we go into that, before we dive any further like this, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a terrible person, mostly politically ineffective. But I do have a special surprise for everybody. And I bet you can't guess what it is. I bet you can't. Okay, because I know you didn't see it coming. Well, maybe you saw it coming, but it's awesome. It's PhD Tony.
Happy Christmas, everyone. So, well, season's greetings.
Happy holidays, good sir.
Yes, and how are you?
I am good. How have you been? I love the new setup.
Well, I'm in a new apartment, as I may have mentioned. So, yep, much more room. You can see my PS5 languishing over there.
Nice.
But yeah, and the books are over there behind the camera. So they've still got a home. But yes,
very cool. Oh, let's see.
Yes.
Robert Fighter for 666 New Zealand says, Merry Christmas, y'all from New Zealand. Have really enjoyed both shows this year. Thank you so much, Robert Fighter. Here is a little one for you. Let me see if I can find a place. My screen just got smaller, so I can find there. Let me put it right there. But thank you so much, Robert Fighter. You rock, and I see that beard coming in like a champion.
Yeah. I've been mindful of it. I've been cultivating it. So not nowhere near as magnificent as your own. Sort of you're setting a very high standard there, I have to say.
It takes a lot of care and effort. I learned hard the first time how much effort it takes, how much you care. You got to really spend on these things, like what you got to do with it. You can't just grow it out and just leave it. That does not work at all.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to say hello to everybody. Hello to everybody in the chat. But yeah, I've noticed its magnificence. Actually, you've changed its magnificence. It used to sort of radiate a little. It used to have sort of
okay, so it's a little bit voluminous, a little bit out right now because I just like about 30 minutes before the stream, I actually took a shower and got cleaned up, and so it kind of air dried, so it's still got that. Like tomorrow, once it's completely dry, it'll kind of settle a little bit. So it's a little wispy. It's a little wispy at the moment. So,
all right.
Clive Wells says, "Hey, PhD Tony."
Hello, Clive. The sort of one of the highlights of entering the debunking community is actually being able to talk to people whose opinions are well worth listening to, and Clive is definitely one of those.
Oh yes.
I also think your sort of dissection of people making silly arguments. It's really interesting how analytical you are about the entire thing, as opposed to sort of you and I. Well, you and I were perhaps the two least temperate of the beardsmen. So, so yeah, it's.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But and sort of the logical rigor you bring to the analyses is really quite impressive. So I think you're doing good work there.
Thank you very much. I will tell you this: whenever Clive is in the chat, especially in a video, like if I do a video, I spend a lot of time on it. That last video I did was 47 minutes long. It took me like 11 hours to edit that thing. And I finally got it done, and I was where I wanted, and I put it up. And then every premiere, if I see Clive come up and I know I'm going to talk about science, I'm always like on the edge. I'm kind of like, oh fuck. Yeah. I just know I oversimplified something, or I generalized something, or I did. And I'm always like, huh. And then Clive, Clive, you rock. He always like, okay. You're right. But I just know that scientist in me is like, oh, you could have said that.
It's very interesting. Sabina Hossenfelder put out a video today discussing the thing about gravity not being a force and explaining it. And I was quite surprised because I actually thought it was a really bad explanation. Because I thought she was kind of all over the place. She was talking about how you can only have an acceleration if there's a force. Well, that's not how acceleration is defined. It's the second time derivative of displacement, and that's reference frame dependent. Now you can say that it's only meaningful. It's only a proper acceleration in an inertial frame. But then she goes on a little while later to talk about the local acceleration due to gravity and how that varies. You can't have it both ways. You just said gravity isn't a force, so those accelerations can't be. Her disconnection was to change the definition of acceleration. So her definition of acceleration is proper acceleration, which is what an accelerometer measures. And my point of disconnection is acceleration is still the second derivative of displacement. But if you see an acceleration in your reference frame, it could be due to a force. It might be a reference frame artifact. You don't know until you bring in the accelerometer. But
right.
But so even and I let her know, like, and MC Toon has let her know that she's done things, and she put out what I can only describe as a fairly silly video about transsexual identity. So even really quite reputable scientists, you can they're not free from being sniped at from the sidelines. So don't feel too self-conscious.
I think it's just because I don't work. I don't work professionally in these things, and so I try to stay on top of them as best I can. I surround myself with people who know way more than I do, so I make sure that what I convey appropriately. And I'm always just like, when I'm running on my own, it's like I go down these notes, and I know that I double check my stuff, and I check my citations, and make sure that I'm conveying the stuff in the simplest, in the easiest or most palatable manner possible. And so I think that's what's most important. And I always try to make sure that I convey exactly what needs to be conveyed without getting too superfluous. And so that's where it kind of like is. I always worry that I always second guessing myself, and I'll be like, I know, and I'm gonna get a message on Discord from Clive. And Clive's like, hey buddy, actually, yeah. So before we go forward, because I have something I want to ask you, Tony. I'm so glad you were here. I'm gonna run down these real quick because people freaked out when you came in. Real fast, I see. Oh, make sure. So, yes, MDS. Marge Taylor Green definitely needs to be booted out of Strange. You're absolutely right. Mike Johnson should be replaced. Oh, yeah, I remember that. GG's a terrible person, right? Blah blah. Mike Johnson is just absolutely terrible. Let me see. Good Tara with H. Good to see you, Good Tara. Thanks so much for hanging out tonight. See, Robert, I totally missed that. Unlock says Tony is the man. Tony is the man. He absolutely is the man. Armageddon's Fire says, good day, Tony. Everybody's, I think Elizabeth S says, Tony! Fantastic. Everybody missed you. Rasheen says, hi, Tony.
Well, everybody's very kind.
Raven Darkstar, it's PhD Tony. So Raven missed you as well. Jackalope Herdmass says, whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, we're living on a prayer. Hey, PhD Tony from Oi Boy. Aaron Ray says it's Dr. Fury, or I like Krakatoni. That's
Krakatoni, Dr. Fury. They're both good superhero names. It's I think Dr. Fury is a better superhero name. There has to be a superhero somewhere called Dr.
I think
Fury.
Dr. Fury and his like feet is the Krakatoni.
Yeah.
Then you're done. Then you're just done. Adam Strange says PhD Tony is CGI.
Well-known fact.
And I think someone else said that Australia doesn't exist on a fat Earth. So, Clive Wells says this for jail insists on his new ghost physics to PhD Tony. I'm fucking 4 years, man.
You're never going to live that down. So, we have been raided, I understand, from.
Oh, yes. Apparently, Colin definitely on Cromwell said he was bringing a bunch of people in. So we will definitely see who else popping in. I will definitely say hi as I see them and trying to get through it as quick as I can. Raven Darkstar, not sure who Mark. Sorry. So it's Michael Johnson. Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House. Ryan Walters is the superintendent of the Oklahoma Department of Education. And he is the one who recently signed a deal, an exclusivity deal with PragerU to bring the PragerU Kids platform into Oklahoma elementary schools. I think that's all I should need to say about that. So Ryan Walters, piece of shit. Let me see. Pope Phil the First says, PhD Tony, can you explain to JL why eternity isn't forever? This was the thing that came up. So
yeah, so I'm not sure about the distinction, but so you need to think of time as a set, so for all points in time may be a finite set, but you can't go outside it. So that's all there is. So Clive's a better person to ask about this, but Hawking and his collaborators were working on a concept called boundaryless time, or a boundaryless universe, where no point in time is adjacent to a point outside of time. That doesn't happen. So there's no start, there's no beginning, and there's no real end. Even though time is bounded, you can't get off it. It's like being on the surface of a sphere, and you can walk and walk and walk. You can walk indefinitely, so you can walk forever, but there may only be a finite amount of time.
Gotcha.
But
in the okay, so I understand it from the physics standpoint, from that side of it, right?
Yeah.
What does eternal mean in the theological sense?
Well, eternal in the eternal, I think, is one-sided. So I'm extrapolating, actually, because I don't feel technically qualified to qualify on this. I'm not, but it's a one-sided thing. So it starts at a particular time, and then it will continue indefinitely beyond there. So there's no end to it. That's what I consider eternal to be.
Right. And the whole thing, the reason I'm bringing this up is because the conversation that I was having is, and actually I'm going to explain that real quick. I'm going to give context to this statement real fast. So I understand the physics aspect, and I think the theological one is different. But let me see here real fast before I just make sure that we don't get too far. Yes, Adam Strange, Tony does often talk way above Flurp's heads, but that bar is really fucking low. Just
it is really low.
Yeah. It's really low. But real quick, I did see that there was a super chat. Girls AAU basketball, thank you so much, says for $1.99, says Colin Raid. I see that. And $1.99, that gets you another one of these. Another dingly dangly. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. And I see a whole bunch of new names. Hello to all of you. P+7 says nice lighting in the beard. Thank you very much. I see a whole bunch of new people. So welcome every single one of you. Thank you very, very much for being here. They kind of like exploded, so I didn't catch every single person. And if I try to say hi to everybody, I'm gonna fall. It's gonna fall apart. So Tony's gonna be sitting here like, what are you doing? So, but thank you very much for being here. Hayden. Oh wow, I dropped one. I lost one. I have to replace it. I'll replace it with this one. Oops. There we go. Let's do that. There we go. So Hayden Harris says, I'm not, oh, that one hurts. Says, I'm not bothered that PragerU is growing. I am bothered that PragerU is growing because PragerU is a con. PragerU is garbage. It's absolute garbage. You're going to talk about an organization that has literally told people that the Tulsa race massacre was not about race. And that's shit. So, they're garbage.
Yeah, well, I think it's, what I think we're seeing here in this social moment is the fluorescence of sort of people wanting to be able to express views that they consider undesirable. I mean, one of the things that is kind of irksome about Christianity is the assumption we're all better than you are. Right. People who aren't Christians aren't good people. They're worse than Christians. So there is an inherent classism or discriminatory process to Christianity as a religion. And I have to say that even when I was a Christian, it took me, even as an 8-year-old, I was a Christian because I was born into a Christian household and my parents told me to be Christian. Wasn't really something that I did, which means that if there is a God and that God is fair, somebody who's born into a Muslim or a Hindu household and believes what they're told can't be judged just on that basis. So it always seemed to me that if there is a God, he cannot possibly be adjudicating based on the niceties of religious belief. But a great many Christians do believe that God discriminates on the basis of religious belief, and they are therefore inherently capable and feel justified in judging the people around them and saying this person is more valuable than that person over there.
Right.
And that strikes me as an extremely dangerous ideology. But what Donald Trump has done is he said it's okay for you to say that you're better because you're a religious person. It's okay for you to say you're better because you're white. It's okay for you to say you're better because you're not Jewish. It's okay to say all these things. You're still wonderful. Other people may not like you, and you may have been made to feel embarrassed for all of that. But you don't have to be. Actually, we're the majority, and those other people who made you feel bad, they're wrong. And you're going to get your revenge on them, and I'm going to be your revenge on them. So
Right.
that's what I feel is the sort of unspoken secret of it's not really addressed enough, is that this is where Donald Trump gets his power from. Where he gets his support from is that he's telling his followers it's okay to be obnoxious in these various ways. Doesn't make you a better person.
And I see Left-Handed Jedi has gifted 5 memberships to the Godless Army. Thank you so much, Left-Handed Jedi. You rock. Thank you so much. Very generous. I appreciate that. Please welcome all the new members, and please enjoy all the cool emojis I've made for you over the years I've been doing the channel. So please, I hope you dig those. Use them to your heart's content. Some of them are funny, some of them are absolutely just silly, and some of them might be kind of dumb, but there's some in there that are like my personal favorites. And I was just about to ask you, because I wanted to bring it up. I don't have anything to stream off of it, and I don't know if you heard about it. And I hope everybody's doing fantastic out there, having a great holiday and everything. So glad to see so many people in here. It's freaking amazing. Thank you, Colin, for the raid. You rock. So appreciate that so much. And Left-Handed Jedi, good to see you, bud. But the kicker was, okay, you're familiar with Greg Locke, right?
Yep.
So Greg Locke did a flat Earth debate.
Yep, I saw that.
Did you actually watch it? Because MC Toon was there. MC Toon was present. Was there?
I saw some of his review, but not a whole lot.
I will say this.
To be honest, I think that Greg Locke is a piece of shit. So
yes, no doubt. Greg Locke is trash. It's absolute trash. You know, there's a reason why. Oh, dang it, they're falling off. I need to secure them better. There's a reason why McKinnon Mitchell and I didn't get the opportunity to go to Tennessee to talk to him, and that was because of whoever it was. I don't know who was levying threats at McKinnon Mitchell for coming out to do that, for coming out to talk to Greg. And, he didn't feel comfortable doing that. And so the whole thing got canceled, which is absolutely insane. So like that. But I will say it was absolutely insane. Yeah, I love it. Ember says, yes, Greg, Demons and Witches, the wife beater Locke. What a nutter butter. He is a nutter butter. Yes, I love that Telltale calls him that. But he actually was prepared. It was kind of shocking that how he hearing the same points come out of his mouth, coming out of like the people that I know who do the debunking. It's like he went to their channels and pulled all their arguments and was doing this, and the guy's just like incredulous across from him. But it was wild because he was like, he brings up about flat Earth. He was like, the Earth is a globe. This is a fact. And you hear the people groaning in his own congregation, like, and he's like, and he's up there on his own congregation, like, shut up. That's not like. It's a man divided. It's that it's crazy to see that. So I mean, I don't know. It was almost like the world kind of turned on its axis at the moment. It's kind of like, holy shit, Greg Locke's actually correct. For once in his life, he's correct.
Well, this is the thing. Like so the right-wing ideology is in many senses indefensible. I was very right-wing when I was young, and I can now see that a lot of right-wing tactics are they're just debate tactics. They're not actually addressing the substance of what's going on. And so what you need to do is convince if you're some sort of right-wing leader, you need to convince your followers not to listen to facts. Right. And the same goes for Greg Locke. So he's trained his congregation to be incredibly skeptical of anything that he doesn't say. But you can easily lose control of that. And I mean, the Republican Party did. They lost control of the narrative. People just started making up whatever they wanted to believe in and believing in that. And your standard sort of commercial-oriented Republican is now completely redundant because you've got barking mad extremists who have their inherently enthusiastic fan base. So yeah, it's a Greg Locke has, to some extent, he promulgates anti-science viewpoints time and again, to me, it has to be self-defeating, right? Ultimately, it's going to come down to, if it comes down to any sort of confrontation, then an ability to grapple with reality is ultimately going to triumph. But though it may take some time, I mean, the Stalinist regime was able to, the Soviet Union was able to survive for decades despite having a completely magical thought process, right, where reality was something that was absolutely unwelcome. So that's the scary part, is if you've got sort of intelligent, malicious people, they could set up a system that will sustain itself for decades. It's not by any stretch of the imagination a foregone conclusion that Trump and his followers are just going to go quietly into the night.
Oh, see, a lot of people popped in. Thank you so much. Susan O says it seems just like the evangelists are running the Republican Party. Yeah, pretty much. It's it's become such a burned out term. Christian nationalism has, but that's exactly what it is. It's individuals that long for a kind of like rewriting of our Constitution in order to justify making our nation, kind of like remaking the image of our nation into a Christian theocracy is kind of what they want. So. Archibald von Kransky says, shout out to Tony. Good to see you. Thank you so much, Archibald.
Thank you, Archibald. And, Clive Wells will is reacting to the Jedi, to attempted Jedi dominance.
Clive Wells says, not just Jedi here, Sith are as well. Absolutely. Yeah. And Sean Alexander, thank you so much for a $20 super chat. Says, it's weird that God created man from dirt, but to make his own son, he had to boink some dude's teenage bride. Merry Mythmas all. Absolutely strange. Absolutely is. And thank you so much, Sean Alexander, for that one. Bam. We have another fun, light one. This is unfortunately the last one. I only got 4. With this, where should it go? Should it go over here? It should go down here. So, but this is the last one that I had, the last lighty one I've got. I've still got a bunch more of the small ones. So thank you so much, Charlie Alexander. Appreciate that. Very generous. Appreciate it. Blue has been a member for 13 months, a member of the Godless Army. Appreciate that, Blue. Happy Festivus to you. Absolutely. Aaron Reese says, I've pondered moving to Ireland. Be careful. There's a demon over there. Watch out. So I put this together because this is kind of a look back. I wanted to kind of I didn't really have a plan. I just wanted to like hang out with friends and see how everybody was doing. So I got to make sure I don't swing my head too much, or else I'll knock these things out. But I found some lists because there's so many kind of like ugly and gross things that went on in 2023. Everything from the Hawaiian wildfires all the way up to all the political shenanigans, right wing, alt right Christian bullshit. And so I was like, what about the good shit that happened? Well, where does good stuff usually happen? It happens in fucking science. And I wore this shirt. And I think you can appreciate it. Because that's the scientific method in a heartbeat. I think so, right?
I think so, yes.
Did you see it? Were you able to see it?
Yes. Yep. Fuck around and find out. Yep.
Cindy Johnson's been a member of the Godless Army for 22 months. Thank you so much, Cindy. Appreciate that. Thank you. You were saying?
Well, yeah, I think that it is the it is the essence of science, but in order to fuck around and find out, you need to have a reliable feedback with reality. So you need to have a connection, a connection with reality, so you can find out if your fucking around was well advised or ill advised. And
scientists were so concerned whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Well, I hate that. I was just thinking. So the apartment that I'm in is actually close to the cathedral, where I used to be an acolyte, and so it's the seat of the local archbishop, and I used to serve there, and I was reminded of one of the worst homilies I'd ever heard, and it was in the aftermath of the release of Jurassic Park, and the homilist went on about man should not play God, man should not meddle with these forces, and I've gone, it's a story.
So true.
So arguing, well, here's what happens when it's a story. It's not real. It didn't happen.
It's like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Try and remember that these are fictional characters. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you at all? Fictional characters.
I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and they were playing Cyberpunk 2077 on a desktop, and they introduced a mod to make the heterosexual female romance romanceable if you were playing a female character, because they do have a lesbian romance option, but they also have a cis female option, and it was and they got told that this was immoral, that this was an immoral thing that they had done, and I'm just going, how can it possibly be immoral? That's not a real character. And it's on your computer. You're not hurting anybody. There's nothing going on here that can possibly be harming another person. How can it be immoral to do this? In what possible universe, is any of this immoral? Just this, the absurdity of it all rather got to me. As you say, they're fictional characters.
Fictional characters.
Yes.
Unlock says, night guys, be safe. Good to you all. Peace out. Night. Bridge the divide. PhD Tony, have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you so much, Unlock. Appreciate you hanging out. Yes, PhD Tony has friends. Adam Strange, you'd be mind blown. Yes, he's got friends. And you notice, I said scientific method, fuck around, find out. And exactly what I thought was going to happen. It's an overgeneralization. And the real scientist over here is like, okay, well, let's parse this out because it's a bit of an overgeneralization. And I knew it was going to happen. I called it. And apparently, thank you so much, Rodnell Sam has pointed out that my channel has just surpassed 6,000 subs. So I broke 6,000. That was kind of my goal, was to break 6,000 by the end of the year. And I did. I am now at 6,012.
Well done. Well done. Aren't you correct me that cis and heterosexual are not the same thing? I stand corrected.
That's true. Yeah. Yes, because it has to do with gender and not sexual orientation.
Yep.
Right.
No, you're quite right.
All right. And I want to make sure that I didn't miss it. So Pope Phil the First did give a $1.99 super chat. I already added the jingle bell. That says, "Wait, I can make jail put balls on his face." Sweet, yes you can. And I've got more here ready to go. Thank you so much. And I saw Sean Alexander super chat. Thank you so much. Blue has been a member of the Godless Army for 13 months. Thanks for the support. Cindy Johnson for 22. Nemo 813 gifted 10 memberships to the army, to the Godless Army. Thank you so much, Nemo 813. Very generous. We do appreciate that very, very much. So, LJ, Bridge the Divide, JL, Lemon Tart 83 is picking on me. Hey kids, I will turn this live stream the fuck around. Think I won't. I will turn around. But thank you all so much. Thank you for 6,000 subs. You all rock. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. I've got so many cool things. One thing that I want to do, and I'm putting together the logistics of it right now, is I'm going to do a road trip, and I'll live stream it and go around where I pretty much on the east. It's kind of like the east side of the pretty much like the Mason-Dixon line east, where I go and I test every single devil's chair in America. There are 7.
Oh.
There are 7 devil's chairs in America, and I want to go and test them. I have the legends about what you're supposed to do for every single one, and I want to test them, and I want to show people that it's just rock in the shape of a chair. So I want to do that. I really do.
Okay.
So I put together a list, and the list of this is, so 2 things I thought would be very cool. Maya Atkinson, thank you so much for a $5 super sticker. You rock. There's another one coming up for you. And LJ is a skinny, barefaced hick that never misses church. Reverse OJL. This is very true. Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Maya. Ow, that one kind of hurts. Let me fix that. Oh, Sean Alexander says, wait. What are devil's chairs? Okay. Are you familiar with them, Tony? What a devil's chair is?
Well, basically devil's whatever, like devil's table is a very common name for sort of Paleolithic rock structures. So it's something it's something sometimes man-made that is old and looks like the piece of furniture it's describing. So
yes,
the devil's table has these upright, and then they've laid a flat. They've laid a flat rock over it, it's just the devil's chairs. I would imagine have some sort of mythology associated with them, that if you sit on them, you're going to go straight to hell or something like that.
Or the devil will come and do something, curse you, or something like that. So yes, in America there are 7 graveyards that I've been able to find. And in each graveyard is one devil's chair, and a devil's chair was essentially kind of like a marker. Sometimes they're headstones, but it's either a marker or like a graveyard seat or something of that nature. That it was kind of traditional that what some families would do is that in order to ensure that the spirit of the dead person was not affected or afflicted by the demons or whatever, that their headstone or a marker be placed for their grave in the shape of a chair or a bench, and that the purpose of that was that while the devil was out there doing his evil deed or doing the devil's work, that when he gets tired, he'd have a place to relax, and that by giving the devil a place to relax in the commission of his deeds, that he would be less likely to afflict the family or the spirit of the person who had died. So it was kind of like a peace offering in that respect. And so there are 7 devil's chairs going from New York all through the Ohio River Valley, going down to Florida. There's actually 2 in Florida, and I cannot wait to go and try them. I think it'll be very. And Aaron Reese says, "Don't forget to sleep overnight at the Devil's Tramping Ground." Apparently there is a spot. I have to look it up again, but there's a spot called the Devil's Tramping or the Devil's Circle or something like that, where it's like this one area where no vegetation grows. And it's like completely barren. And so if you sleep in that, then supposedly weird things supposed to happen. I have no idea. But I definitely want to check that out. So, yeah. But I put together a list. I
feel like you should incorporate Clive Wells' suggestion. And
what do you do? Where do you go?
Indulge your passion for ghost hunting while you're on this.
Jail hangs around in graveyards to talk to the ghosts. No, stop. Clive, I love you. You're killing me. You're killing me, sir. But I thought that you would. I'm glad that you're here because I thought that you would think that these were cool. the top 10 scientific discoveries in 2023,
Mhm.
or top 10 out of this world solar system discoveries. So space discoveries or scientific discoveries. So, because I wanted like kind of the cool things that can happen that people might not be aware of. I thought this was kind of cool. Martin H says, "I'm waiting for Jail and Tony's online Ouija session that you promised was going to happen." Clive Wells, it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. Number one, I shockingly, despite the look of my office, I don't have a Ouija board. I actually don't.
They're a very modern. They're a very modern development, right? They were just a game. That you could play.
Well, they're the ancient spirit boards is kind of where they take the inspiration, to do whatever that mediums would use in the late 18th century, or the late 19th century, something like that. But nonetheless, I actually don't own one. I don't. Pope Phil I says, "Birds Divide. This would be this would be the time of year to check that list twice." Absolutely would be. I do check my list twice. So, the 10. So, what do you think? 10 scientific discoveries or 10 out of this world solar system discoveries? Which one kind of appeals to you more?
Let's go with the solar system discoveries.
Solar system discoveries. All right. So, and some of these are actually kind of cool. So, the 10 out of this world solar system discoveries made in 2023. This was published a day ago on livescience.com. And so, and actually, this is interesting because you may be able to provide some insight into some of these things that may be lost in kind of like, because live science kind of makes it palatable to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So, but number 10 is that Mercury is shrinking.
Right. Yeah, I remember seeing a headline as far as that's concerned, and my guess is that that's got to do with thermal contraction of the interior, but I'm not entirely certain about that.
You would be correct. Experts have long known that Mercury has shrunk significantly since it first formed. Giant cracks known as scarps on the planet's surface were created as the planet contracted over long periods of cooling.
Yeah, and I would suggest that sort of even though the surface of Mercury is more than 600 degrees, it's there's still sort of a negative gradient. And the interior is losing heat. So yeah, so that would suggest that it's got a molten core, which is cooling and contracting. Whether or not it's electromagnetically active, I don't know. I don't think it is really active. But yeah.
Oh, Aaron Reed says, bury a box at the crossroads and monitor your subscriber count week by week. It all of a sudden starts going down because the devil don't want shit for me. Yeah, that would be fucking wild. Ember says, I don't know, PhD Tony. The night side of Mercury is pretty cool.
The night side of Mercury is reasonably cool, but I think the average surface temperature is something in the order of 600 Celsius. So
it's like 1100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, something like that.
And let's see, this year scientists also discovered that salty glaciers in some of Mercury's craters could provide the necessary conditions for some form of extremophile to thrive.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, but just based on experience in Earth, once you've generated life, it can develop even in very extreme conditions. And so, yeah, it's not impossible, but there's a lot of things that aren't impossible. So,
right. Lemon Tart like say, why haven't aliens visited our planet yet? They looked at the reviews. Only 1 star.
I see what he did there.
I love it. I love dad jokes. Number 9 was oxygen has been found on Venus.
Okay, I hadn't heard that one, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. Venus had a Venus, we know, had water on its surface early in its development. Water, of course, contains oxygen, so the presence of oxygen, and of course you've got carbon dioxide. You've got a significant amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, so oxygen is present. And I'm wondering, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of chemical process by which carbon dioxide is dissociated, and then the oxygen itself has a relatively brief lifespan as free oxygen, but the numbers involved are such that it can sustain a small population of oxygen. But
right. Aaron Reese says oxygen is only helpful when it's not mixed with a lot of other toxic shit. Very true. Very true. And Rodel's name is looking forward to the hot Mercury aliens. Absolutely. Thank you, Facty. Good to see you. Thanks so much for popping in. Says nice Christmas beer, Jail. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And apparently what they found was a thin layer. This was discovered by... make sure that I got this right. Discovered by NASA's Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy. It's a telescope attached to a large plane that flew above most forms of interference in Earth's atmosphere between 2014 and 2022. And they discovered a thin layer of, what do they call it? I'll make sure I'm reading it right. A thin layer of molecular oxygen, unbonded oxygen atoms. So, do you need to take that?
yeah, I need to take that. I'll be back.
Cool. And I can hold off on that one. So I know he digs the space stuff. So I'm going to pop over to the big kickers. We'll jump to the space stuff. So we'll go back to space stuff here in a moment. This top 10 scientific discovery so far this for 2023, I think, as far as this list goes, is AI jumps leaps and bounds. Big hits on that one. Deep learning models, ZF design. Research show a large language model, ProGen, can generate functional protein sequences within a predictable function. Artificial intelligence tools successfully identified people at the highest risk for pancreatic cancer up to 3 years before diagnosis. So big leaps in AI. Number 2 is the first wiring map of an insect brain, which took place at the University of Cambridge. The first ever map showing every single neuron and how they're wired together in the brain of a fruit fly larva. That is fucking wild. That is cool. Soon.
Do you have a graphic for it? Because I know something interesting about fruit fly brains.
Let me see. I think I don't know if I can share it. Well, actually, maybe I can. Maybe I can share this. Let me share my screen. And it looks like that.
Let me just check. It's still loading for me, so I can't see
the share screen.
Oh, yep. So if you look at that from above, if you look at a fruit fly brain from above, it looks like a cock and balls. you got the. Or you can look at, if you imagine that and you turn it upside down, it bears a resemblance. This is the sort of cutting edge scientific understanding that you've invited onto your show when you've got me on the panel. But
that's amazing. That is awesome. I'm not going to be able to unsee that. I'm not going to be able to unsee that. Oh man, back to the solar system. And they also found that Venus has thousands more volcanoes than we previously realized. That many of them could still be active, which I wouldn't doubt for a second.
Yep.
The moon is the moon. This is number 10. This is number 8. The moon is older than we thought.
Yes.
Likely 40 million years older than we initially realized, which cosmologically speaking is literally like that long. So it's like, like it's literally just kind of like moving the markers. Oh, it's a little bit more accurate in that direction. So
that's, I consider 40 million years to be a fairly trivial adjustment. And I wasn't necessarily so convinced that it deserved as much airtime as it got, because but but it's still a refinement.
And
I
let me see.
apologize to the Jedi guy who shot Mountain Dew out of his nose.
Let's see. Closer to home, the moon may be at least 40 million years older than we previously thought. Researchers examined tiny impact crystals known as zircon crystals within lunar rock samples brought back by the Apollo 17 mission. New analysis revealed that these crystals, which were left by the collision between Earth and a Mars-sized planet that birthed the moon, were older than similar crystals found in other lunar samples. These crystals are the oldest known solids that formed after the impact theory, and they act as an anchor for lunar chronology. Astronomers also detected a mysterious heat-emitting blob on the moon's far side and spotted a separate chunk of the moon orbiting the Earth.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Those zircon dates, actually, the research school where I work developed an instrument called the Super High Resolution Ion Microprobe. And so what can happen is that you can get these zircons, which are little crystals, and then you get accretions of material outside them. And so you can have actually sort of multiple layers. And what this ion microprobe can do is it can target the individual layers of the zircons, so that you can get a very detailed reconstruction of the thermal history of the zircon. And this is widely used in mineral exploration. So the young Earth creationists out there have no idea what they're walking into as far as the technologies that have been applied to this.
I love UPB dating. I do. I really do. I love it. It's just once I finally learned, I understood it. And I was like, this shit is so cool. So, and the fact that the process formation, zircon, and how it actually attracts uranium, but repels lead as natural.
Mm-hmm.
But during the formation, that uranium gets. So I was like, that's amazing. It's like I fucking love it. Love it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can do the stuff you can do with it. You can use the two separate decay chains, the UTS, the lead 206, the lead 205 decay chains, and you can compare them, and if they don't give concordant dates, then you can work out how much lead must have been leached into the system in order to reconcile them. So you can, even if there has been lead sucked into the zircon, you can still obtain a date. This is using a Concordia diagram. It's really interesting stuff. More technically, nowadays they call it uranium series dating, because they don't just use uranium and lead; they use uranium, thorium, uranium, protactinium, all of this sort of stuff. The other thing that's interesting about uranium series dating is that thorium and protactinium they're not normally soluble in water. So if these are present in corals or speleothems that are formed in watery conditions, they can only have gotten there as a result of radioactive decay.
Nice. Fucking suck. Fuck around and find out, baby. That's how you do it.
Yes.
That's how you do it. Let's see. Number 6 on the list is that 6? I think that's 6. Yeah, 7 is the moon. 6, Mars. Mars is spinning faster and faster. Its rotation is picking up.
That's interesting.
So one of the biggest stories to come from Mars this year is that the red planet's spin is beginning quicker every year. Data from NASA's InSight mission shows that Mars's rotation is accelerating at a rate of 4 milliarcseconds per year, which means its days are growing slightly shorter. A milliarcsecond, for those who don't know, is 1/1000th of an arcsecond, which is a unit of angularity. Two leading theories explain the speed up. These might be hypotheses because they're not cemented yet. The first is that ice accumulation at the planet's poles is causing a slight change in how its mass is distributed. And the second is a phenomenon called post-glacial rebound. That sounds like it's up your alley, where land masses rise up after millennia buried in ice.
Yeah, so those do have rotational effects. if you're redistributing mass from the equator to the poles, that will that will reduce the moment of inertia, and that will speed up the rotating body. This is very analogous to an ice skater pulling in their arms. You're sort of reducing that radius, and it will spin faster. That's very interesting. It would, if it's post-glacial rebound, that actually suggests that there was ice sheets at the poles. They've gone, and now mass is flowing away from the equator back up to the poles. I guess that's possible. Yeah, that's really interesting. So I hadn't heard about that. So that's news to me. But yeah, in both cases, it's got to do with the redistribution of mass from equatorial regions to polar regions. So
fucking A. You gotta love it when Tony gets the science gears going. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah. That's what makes that. That was part of what made the Four Beards special. Is getting that, because people love hearing you talk about science more than they love me or anybody else talk about science. So,
right.
But fantastic. They also solved the mystery of the planet's largest ever Mars quake, and they calculated the minimum number of people needed to start a Martian colony. So that's been going along, but I think it's very cool that Mars's rotation is coming up. Its days are getting a little bit shorter, not by much. We're talking arc second, like thousands of arc seconds. So it's very slight. Kind of like it's like I mean, to think about it in terms of like speed, continental drift is faster than that. So the rate of change is actually faster than that would be.
Well, Ember points out in the chat that the Mars quakes they've been detecting seem to be related to rebound in the chaoses, and this is something that that's actually quite interesting. We had a look at this in terms of the influence of post-glacial rebound or glacial isostatic adjustment on the frequency of earthquakes in Scandinavia, and in particular in the Scandinavian oil fields, where they want to know what the earthquake risk is. And it turns out that if you've got a large mass on top of an area, it will actually stabilize the faults. But as you remove that large load, actually the faults in the area will approach failure. They move to a less stable regime. So it's one of the interesting features is that you reduce the overall stress, but you bring the system closer to failure. So that's interesting.
Left-handed Jedi brings up, is that like the planet pulling its arms closer to speed its rotation? Yep, and that's what Tony was mentioning, was speeding up just like an ice skater. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Redistribution of the mass. And Ronan last name says, it's just the Adeptus Mechanicus building more Titan war machines. And yes, we did have a small, Robert Biter. Robert Biter is pointing out that over on Week in Horror, over on the show, we talked about a movie called The Creeps, which was released by Full Moon. And actually it goes by another name, Deformed Monsters, which they changed it before they released it. But the movie was about a mad scientist who wants to bring fictional literary characters to life and use them to conquer the world. So he brings back Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, Mummy. But the experiment goes wrong, and they all come out as midgets, as like midget versions, or dwarves. They come out as dwarves, and it's so bad. And like the last 20 minutes of the live stream turned into person jokes, and I just knew that I was going to go to hell for that. I was like, this is so bad, but it was funny. It was funny as shit. We laughed our asses off. All right. Clive Wells says Alderaan's rotation slowed down considerably after it fired at the innocent battle station.
It was an unprovoked action. Clearly an unprovoked action on Alderaan's part. It was coming right for the battle station. you can see it. It was coming right for the battle station, as South Park says, and they were left with no alternative. It was self-defense. But I will say that I think that some pieces of Alderaan seem to spin quite rapidly, I have to say. Yes.
For love band. There you go. They were charging us. We had to fire. It's kind of like it's like the officer. I'm sorry. The planet was packing. The planet was charging, man. We had no choice.
Did you see the size of the thing? Like, it was huge.
All right, number 5 is Jupiter has officially, after confirmation, has a dozen new moons.
Oh, okay.
Attached to it. The scientists confirmed the existence.
There's some more Jupiter news, isn't there? Like,
do what?
I thought that there was more Jupiter news.
Well, let me see here. See, scientists confirmed the existence of 12 new moons around Jupiter, bringing the planet's satellite count to 92. At the time this was set, it was a new solar system record. The new Jovian moons are small, ranging from 0.6 to 2 miles, and most of them have wide orbits. 9 of the 12 moons take more than 550 days to orbit Jupiter. They were discovered in 2021 and 2022, but were just confirmed this year by the International Astronomical Union's Minor Planet Center. This year, NASA's Juno spacecraft also discovered organic compounds on the surface of Jupiter's largest moon, Ganymede. The molecules likely came from the moon's subsurface ocean, hinting that it could sustain life.
Well, this is a long-term theory, right? I mean, there's been hypotheses about sort of these organic oceans. Yes, the werewolf problem must be.
Werewolf problem is terrible on Jupiter.
But yeah, this is such an old theory that in 1985, I think, it was brought up in an Alpha Flight comic, which gives you, which is where you should get all your reputable science.
Jupiter's mass brings all the moons to its orbit. Damn right. It's bigger than yours. I teach you. I have to charge. Yes, Jupiter's orbit, or Jupiter's gravity, does bring all the moons to the yard. It really does. Oh, let me see. Let's see. Okay, number 4. But Saturn has even more moons. So Saturn officially it's been officially added 62 moons to Saturn's roster, bringing its total to 145 and setting a new record that is unlikely to be broken by Jupiter again.
Yes.
And apparently our key organic compounds shooting out of Saturn's icy moon Enceladus have also been spotted. And researchers also working out that the astronomer who discovered Saturn's largest moon, Titan, was probably nearsighted.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
And for fuck's sake, Saturn. Well, Saturn's just a slut, so that's different.
Well, well, you kind of spoiled that this was coming down the line when in the previous one you said it was at the time a solar system record. Oh, okay. So, yeah.
Amber says hydrogen cyanide. Let's get those amino acids. Gotta love it. And yes, Facty, hit 6,000 on the channel. Thank you very much, Facty. Appreciate that.
Clive Well says that Jupiter is in with a shot if the Rebel Alliance builds a base on one of its moons. Which is an excellent point, I think. Right.
Absolutely. Number 3 on the list is polar vortex spotted on Uranus.
Ah, okay.
So moving into the outer planets, new images of Uranus showed a gigantic polar vortex swirling around the ice giant's north pole, suggesting the planet's atmosphere is not as inert as we previously believed. And see, polar vortex, go ahead.
Well, I'm just wondering why they believe that Uranus is... his
atmosphere is inert.
It seems a bad guess based on the atmospheres we can see. They're really not that inert, and the temperature regimes seem to be. We've got a storm that's centuries old on Jupiter. There's no reason, and we've got that unusual hexagonal feature.
Yes, I love it down on the South Pole.
Yeah. So it seems to be a characteristic of that planetary atmospheres that they're very dynamic systems. And I mean, the key textbook I read in terms of climate change was the physics of planetary climates, the physics of climate and planetary atmosphere, something like that. And a lot of its examples come from these other. I'm not certain, Ember, if it's a matter of the number of rocks actually increasing. I would guess that increasing over time, but I would guess that Saturn is actually pulling in comets. That's what I would be guessing.
Let me see. Obviously, the jokes are coming in. So first and foremost, sorry I missed it. Aaron Reese for $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Aaron. Says, just FYI, your beard sounds like a reindeer orgy. It kind of does.
Well, no, there's no mooey.
Yes, and let's see. Mike said, does Saturn, Jupiter capture asteroids to make more moons, or are we just seeing more? I think it's a combination of the two. That we are spotting more, and with better technology, and of course they capture them as well. I mean, planets of that size are going to snag stuff that drips by on occasion. Emperor says Uranus has a polar vortex. You can't make this shit up, folks. It does, especially during that time of the month. Pinworm says, I once dropped amino acid. I saw the God particle. Let me see. And Sean Alexander says, this has been awesome. It's rare that I get to join live. I have to get going, but congratulations, JL, and thanks for all the suffering you endure from watching videos of religious twits. Thank you very much, Sean. I do appreciate that. And Sean has been a member of the Godless Army for 28 months. Thank you so much for that support, Sean. You rock. Have a safe holiday. I hope you are well, and be safe if you're traveling. We'll catch you on the next one. But yeah, 6,000 subs. Freaking awesome. Oh, apparently I've now dropped down to 5.98 subs. So let me actually refresh.
What?
No. It says 6,012.
Okay.
It says 6,012. Well, okay. So my studio says 6,012. And 6.01K. Yeah. So I'm 6.01K. Yep. I'm still over 6. So 6,012. Regios has gifted 10 memberships to the Godless Army. Thank you so much, Regios, and good to see you. Thanks so much for hanging out tonight. So please, everybody, enjoy those new memberships and enjoy all those cool emojis I made for you, especially like the Heil Greg and a number of the other silly ones. I'm really proud of some of those that I made, so I hope you dig those. Blast them out whenever you see them. And Raven Darkstar would like to remind, just say no to Cylons, no Cylons, no Cylons. Absolutely. Thank you, Mike. 71 says, congrats on 6K. Thank you.
Not Cromwell. Cromwell feels like he's being ignored.
So, Colin, there's so many people in the chat. I may not have seen it, but I just caught that. I see that there. I see you. I haven't seen any comments from you, but I thought that you had had to go because you said you were going to come back. So I apologize, but I want to make sure I did thank you for the big raid that came in. We saw that when Tony saw it. I saw it. So, but thank you for bringing so many people over. That was very awesome of you. But I apologize if I didn't see your comment, if I missed it. They're running by so quick, and I want to make sure that I don't miss anything and I hit things as necessary. So if I missed what you said, I do apologize. I'm scrolling up, I'm still not seeing it. Oh, wait, there it is. Yeah. You all are awesome. Have a great holiday, everyone. Thank you, Colin. You rock, dude. I appreciate that very, very much.
I do want to. I've never actually had the opportunity to sort of interact with Colin, but he seems to be sort of an inspirational presence in the First Amendment space.
Oh, Colin really rocks! Yeah, Colin's rocking. I mean, his channel is blowing up quick. It's fantastic. I love. I like the energy he brings to it. It's a bit different than the kind of like what's popular out there. So I like new blood. So like new blood coming in to give like a different kind of perspective, to come with it, come out with a different energy. I like what Colin brings to the table, and I know his channel is going to keep going. So.
Well, I feel like a lot of people make a lot of people cover stuff that he brings to their attention. So he certainly seems to be sort of fueling a lot of content. So a lot of people owe a great debt to Colin. So it's certainly not my intention to be in any way disrespectful or neglectful of Colin, because he's an important presence. So, and thank you for coming over.
Thank you, Colin. Let's see. Here we go. So the swirling rings are thought to be caused by high-altitude atmospheric jet streams, although the mechanisms differ from planet to planet. Apparently, the vortices were spotted. Vortices have been spotted on Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune. And in '86, NASA's Voyager 2 probe spotted a polar vortex around Uranus' south pole on its journey out of the solar system. So earlier this year, scientists also spotted a polar vortex on the sun for the first time.
Yeah, all you need for a polar vortex is sort of a temperature gradient. I'd be interested in the dynamics for the sun. It's a the sun obviously does rotate rotates in any frame of reference, but certainly relative to us every 20 odd days, 27, 21, something like that.
Let's see. Enormous polar vortex on the sun is unprecedented. A long looping filament of plasma snapped over the sun's north pole, creating a polar vortex.
Okay.
A massive tentacle of plasma snapped apart in the sun's atmosphere before tumbling down, circling the star's north pole at thousands of miles a minute, and then disappearing. The entire spectacle lasted about 8 hours, went viral on Twitter. When Tamitha Skov, a science communicator and research scientist at the Aerospace Corporation of California, posted footage of the event captured by the Solar Dynamics Observatory. Yeah,
it is sometimes a little bit scary to reflect on how little we know about solar dynamics. We've been observing it in detail for a relatively short period. But if you look, those people who have paid attention to my geochronology series will perhaps remember that I focused on cosmogenic radionuclides. These are exotic isotopes that are created by the impacts of cosmic rays, and we can examine these in incredible detail to determine the behavior of Earth's magnetic field and the sun's magnetic field and solar activity and that sort of thing. And we can reconstruct events as large and as significant as the Carrington event from the 1870s, the one that made the telegraphs sort of catch fire and short circuit, but that are multiple years in duration. And we're not certain what caused them. There was one in 773 Common Era, one in 905 Common Era, all of them multi-year events. So obviously people on Earth at the time didn't notice them. But if we had one of those today, it would take out a considerable amount of our infrastructure, certainly our satellite infrastructure. And we don't know what caused them. It could be some form of solar activity that we've just never seen before. It could be some sort of extrasolar event like a nearby gamma ray burst or something like that. There are multiple theories out there. But if you look in detail, the fact that we've only been observing the sun for a very little while in sufficient detail to sort of have any idea of its understanding means that it still probably has a lot of surprises that we're not prepared for yet.
Hell yeah.
And Roden, no last name is there with a "they might be giants" quote.
Yep. The sun is a mass of incandescent gas. Love that one. I actually used it. I actually used a clip of that in a video that I did, and unfortunately,
Robert Biter gets it too.
I don't know what they're talking about. Okay, so yeah. Let's see, right? Yes, They Might Be Giants. I used that song in a video one time. Right. Adam Strange says, but the physicist J.M. Truth says the sun needs oxygen to burn.
Yeah,
hurts. It hurts so much.
that was yeah. So there are some fundamental misunderstandings.
So
he goes, you can say that it's fusion, you still need oxygen. No, fusion does not need oxygen. But anyway.
All right, next on the list is Neptune keeps growing mysterious spots. So this year, astronomers captured the first clear image of one of Neptune's mysterious dark spots from Earth and photographed a never-before-seen bright spot at the same time. Temporary dark spots have been documented on the solar system's most distant planet since 1989, when Voyager 2 spotted one as it passed by. They think the dark spots are probably gigantic storms like Jupiter's Great Red Spot, but they're unsure why the spots appear so dark. The recent bright spot has never been seen before and lasted only a few weeks, so its origins are even more mysterious, but the different spots are likely linked. Astronomers also noticed that all of Neptune's clouds had, this year, astronomers also noticed that all of Neptune's clouds had suddenly vanished, and the disappearing act is likely linked to a peak in solar activity as the sun reaches the explosive peak in its roughly 11-year solar cycle known as the solar maximum.
Yeah. So, you know, and that's something that actually we're sort of having to factor into online satellite missions, is that increased solar activity for us increases atmospheric motion, which increases atmospheric drag, which reduces the lifespan of the missions. So it's something that you need to sort of take into account. But yeah, that is sort of interesting. I kind of think that Neptune needs to look at its diet and perhaps consider anti-acne cream. Spots.
Donnie does that. Thank you so much. You've been a member of the Godless Army for 18 months. Thank you for that support, Donnie. I really, really appreciate that. You rock. Coming up towards the end of the list, we got Pluto has an icy supervolcano. Demoted planet Pluto has been hiding a gigantic cryovolcano the size of Yellowstone supervolcano. Cryovolcanoes, also known as ice volcanoes, are simply volcanoes that erupt with cryomagma, ice, water, and various gases. Instead of molten rock, they've been found in several places across the solar system, including the dwarf planet Ceres, and at the heart of explosive comets such as the Devil Comet. Pluto's newly discovered volcano, named Calad's Caldera, was originally pegged as a crater, but after taking a second look at the data, scientists detected traces of cryomagma around the depression, which is evidence that it has erupted multiple times. They don't know if it's still active, but if it is, it could produce enough cryomagma to cover Los Angeles. So ice supervolcano on a cryovolcano on Pluto.
That is pretty cool. It is also, those sorts of things do. We were talking about surface loading and deformation earlier, and the creation of seamounts on the Earth, for instance, is another way that you can redistribute mass. And it causes relaxation and deformation and has an impact on rotation characteristics as well. But these things tend to be a bit random, so they don't tend to act in a coordinated fashion. Cryovolcano would be a hell of a band name, yes.
It would be. Thank you, Aaron. And Dr. Nimrod says my audio is doing a weird double jump every few minutes. It might be something to do with StreamYard, or it might be the fact that I'm talking and I have these things going on as ambient sound. I have no idea. It might be my mic. I've never done this before, so hopefully it's not too bad. And this is the last one on the list, and I don't know how you're going to feel about this one. Planet 9 might not exist, but it also might.
Yeah, they keep on saying this. There are multiple sort of data sets that people look at, gravitational anomalies, and what's driving various processes. But again, if something might or might not exist, well, let's wait until we have more data.
So apparently, Planet 9, hypothetical planet that is rumored to exist somewhere in the outer reaches of the solar system. The Planet 9 hypothesis arose due to when astronomers detected gravitational anomalies in the Kuiper Belt, a group of comets and asteroids beyond the orbit of Neptune. These anomalies suggested an invisible planet up to 10 times the size of Earth is lurking somewhere beyond the Kuiper Belt. But in a preprint paper uploaded in September, scientists proposed that these gravitational anomalies could be explained by an alternative theory of gravity known as modified Newtonian dynamics.
Yeah, and so modified Newtonian dynamics basically says that once the absolute acceleration being experienced by a body drops below a certain threshold, then the form of the law of gravitation changes. And it has been hypothesized as an alternative explanation for galactic rotation, for instance, that might obviate the need for dark matter. So far, there's they really are digging into a lot of these. A lot of the dynamics of the Kuiper Belt are really understood through large-scale statistical analyses, and the question becomes, what's your confidence in the signal-to-noise ratio when you're looking at these large stochastic systems? And I'm not convinced at this. Well, neither is anybody else. Nobody is declaring emphatically that this is the solution or this is not the solution. But a lot of the tests that have been imposed for modified Newtonian dynamics on a galactic scale haven't worked, so there's no positive evidence for it yet, and it seems to be that at least one of the major adherents or supporters of modified Newtonian dynamics changed his position and said, actually, we find no. So looking at the same data set, he published 2 papers, and in the most recent paper, he said, actually, if you do it properly, we don't see anything here. So there's still a long way to go before we could consider this question settled, but there's very little evidence in favor of modified Newtonian dynamics.
Fascinating stuff. Clive Wells says, poor Pluto. Yes, poor Pluto. Demon Orb says the asteroid belt should be named Van Halen. It's a rock band. There's so many of these. I know I've seen a bunch of them. Lemon Tart 83 says, what kind of dessert comes out of a musical volcano? Baklava. Oh, I love it. So that was 10 out of this world solar system discoveries that have been found. The other one was 10 scientific discoveries, 10 big scientific discoveries in 2023. And number 1 was AI jumps leaps and bounds. Just big advancements in AI. First wiring map of an insect's brain. You saw that picture.
Mm-hmm.
Synthetic human embryos created from stem cells.
Yep, heard about that. There are, and this is the point that I was going to get to earlier with the worst homily that I'd ever heard. The job of scientists is to point out whether or not something is possible, whether or not it can be done, and if you whether or not it's ethical to do that, whether or not we should do that, is somebody else's problem. It's not the scientist's question. The scientist's job is to bring this possibility to the attention of the rest of society, and it's up to society to decide whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing to do.
So I have another surprise. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but he's here.
Johnny O, how are you?
What's going down, everybody?
I got him.
Excellent to see you, sir.
It's been interesting evening, powers and internets and whatnot. So I don't know how long I'll be on, but I figured I'd stop by and say hello to 2 of my favorite people in the entire world.
Is your power out right now?
Power's not out, but internet is down, so it's spotty at best.
Right. And you're on your phone. Is that what we're?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's absolutely wonderful to see you. Fantastic. I was.
It has been a minute, and I miss you guys.
Well,
Bringing
entirely
people together.
reciprocated. I miss getting to hang out with you dudes and opine drunkenly on whatever it is.
Something is awry though. I don't see all of the books behind you or DVDs or all those stuff. What is?
So I have moved. To a new apartment. Much more spacious. The books are over there. Actually, all of the DVDs are in those drawers underneath so they're there. They're just hidden from view.
I gotcha.
But yeah, so it's a new place. Yeah, and I'm settled in and quite good. It's within walking distance of work, so I'm really happy. Also,
cool.
Also within walking distance of Parliament House. So if I get uppity with a politician, I can go out there and punch him.
Yeah, I support your decision.
Peter Collins says, "Jail getting the band back together." Sometimes it's really hard to pull these guys out of retirement. To bring back the bassist and the rhythm guy that really make this thing flow. Unfortunately, we have a lead vocalist, and I don't know where he is. He's off being famous somewhere else. His solo project is really taking off, so trying to pull him in is going to be like pulling teeth. He's out there somewhere.
I feel we're at an obstacle right at the beginning, because in order to get the band back together, JL, you would have to concede that you're on a mission from God.
Oh no! Oh no!
I love it. That Blues Brothers for the win. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. We're on a mission from God.
Mission from God. Yep.
I'm sorry, Johnny. The Penguin wants to see you. Aaron Reeves, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says the facial follicle count is approaching critical mass.
That is true. Yeah. It is. Although mine is almost all but gone. Yeah.
I got to get that in there.
Well, I mean, you're still more hirsute than I am. I freely concede. I don't think I've been doing too badly.
I don't know. You're looking rather sharp there with that. Yeah.
Thank you.
He's rocking it.
Yeah.
He is.
Oh, Raven Dark said plot hole. You trimmed the beard?
I did. I have a film roll coming up. We're slated to shoot sometime in February, and I have to be not as bearded as I once was.
Yeah. Okay. Professional.
Something like that, as professional as I can be anyway.
I discovered the other day that this was the source of the rift between Toshiro Mifune and Akira Kurosawa. Apparently,
facial hair.
Yes, facial hair. So apparently, in their last project together, filming lasted something like 2 years. During which Kurosawa insisted that Mifune had to, maintain this shaggy, unkempt beard, during which he couldn't film any other roles. And having just started up his own production company, he actually wanted to make some films. So this was actually the cause of some friction between them. So,
yeah.
Damn.
Aaron Reed says, "Who the fuck shaves in December to get ready for February?"
Well,
I do because I had to. There were other things that had to happen, headshots and all that stuff for pitch decks and all the good things that come before, and just had to happen. I guess. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Well, there is a lot to movie production before the actor steps on. People need to know what they look like. They need to know lighting. The lighting conditions, whether or not certain makeup effects are necessary. They need to know, the wardrobe choices. they need to have some idea how people look, because they're making decisions well before people get
exactly.
there.
Susan wants to know what role, Johnny.
It's a role in a film it's tentatively titled "Didn't Get It." I play a entertainer who is in the throes of addiction and a mental health breakdown. It's kind of a psychological thriller type thing.
Okay, so we need to get Irish Demon on so that you can get some tips on
absolutely true on the mental health breakdown. Yeah.
It's when you were asked that question, I was going to leap in and say, we all need to wait for the new 007 announcement. So.
Oh, I can't talk about that one.
Yeah, you can't talk about it. That's.
Aaron said, I personally wouldn't recommend Johnny expose more of his face before taking headshots. Excellent advice there, Aaron. Got a good point.
Yeah, that's just mean.
But it's true. Look, here's the thing. He's not lying, okay?
And Rodinola's name would like to remind us: no sparklers. No sparklers on this stream. None on this stream. I do have a few more.
All the three of us are safe with sparklers. It's the other guy who's not safe with sparklers.
To be brutally honest, I think a sharpened stick sort of extends his capacity to operate.
I think that's I would say that's a fair assessment of his abilities to handle weapons.
Scissors?
Mm-mm.
Pencils?
Nope.
Corners on tables?
Yep, definitely
not. Unprotected light sockets?
He's starting to sound like that electrician guy who always shocks the shit out of himself and every fucking thing he does. You know who I'm talking about.
I fucking love that dude. In fact, he's doing that shit on purpose to be like, and let's do the. Oh my god! Yeah. It freaks out. Yes, I remember that. So I was running down. Well, I'm glad that you're here, and we were running down. Because there were so many shitty things that happened in 2023. 2023 wasn't as bad as 2022 and 2021, because I think the pandemic really, that just exacerbated shit. But 2023 actually had some good stuff. So I was looking back with Tony at some of the cool things that happened in 2023 that people might not be aware of, and the scientific stuff, like the top 10 scientific discoveries in 2023 that took place. And so that's where we were running down this. Currently, big leaps in AI was number one. The first wiring map of an insect brain in a fruit fly larva, like the full-on, all 3,016 neurons and 548,000 synapses.
Wait a second.
Out, so.
Question. How did they get Irish Demon to sit still long enough for that?
That's a very good question. Fruit fly larva.
Well, did you? But that means that you missed my joke about fruit fly brains.
Oh, I did. I did miss your joke. Damn.
Apparently, and I guess because now he's brought it up because now you have no context. But
he's going to have to bring up the graphics so you can.
They
see
look
it.
like if you flip them around, they look like dicks, dick and balls.
It looks like a cock and balls.
Upside down cock and balls. So yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Now you know that. That's a thing you know now.
So we could say that fruit fly larvae literally have cock and balls on their mind all the time.
It explains why flies. It explains why flies are such dicks.
Yes, it does.
Number 3 was synthetic human embryos created from stem cells.
That's some fucking sci-fi shit just waiting to murder us all.
So scientists at the University of Cambridge and the California Institute of Technology created synthetic human embryos using stem cells in a groundbreaking advance that sidesteps the need for eggs or sperm.
Oh no, that's a bad idea.
I see Tony's like, oh, that has so many bad applications.
Yeah,
Yep.
there are. You know, this is why I was thinking about. This is why I was talking about sort of the ethics of this sort of stuff needs to be carefully assessed. I mean,
Like
it's okay for
growing
scientists to say we can do this,
growing soldiers.
Yeah. Well,
Just
you
grow
know,
a soldier and kick it off to battle. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's a staple of science fiction from Blade Runner and Soldier, down to. But yeah, it raises very serious ethical questions, and I really think that they need to be assessed. Hello, Mrs. Hello.
Oh, hello. Let me see here.
He's a better looking one. We all know this.
So apparently the structures do not have a beating heart or the beginnings of a brain, but include cells that would typically go on to form the placenta, yolk sac, and the embryo itself. So,
wow. Okay.
Number 4 was the first successful transplant of functional cryopreserved rat kidney.
Why? I just, I think they just do this shit so they can say they've done it. This is so Tony, let be real, okay? You can be honest here. This is just one of those things that scientists do so they can have a weird flex at their nerdy after parties.
No, there are some genuine
bullshit. Bullshit.
So let me share a piece of trivia with you. Did you know that the first countertop microwave oven was developed for the sole purpose of reanimating frozen hamsters?
Johnny's face is like, no.
And so the research arc was: can you freeze a human and then thaw them out? And so they thought, well, we'll start with something small. We'll start with hamsters. We'll freeze the hamsters, and then and if you do it properly, and you thaw them out properly, you have to do it all reasonably slowly. Then it turns out that the hamsters come back to life, and they're fine. But the problem is that with humans are a lot big. You may not know this. This is going to blow your mind. But humans are actually considerably bigger than your average hamster.
Really?
And
not
so,
according to Night of the Leafus.
And so actually sort of thawing out a human, so the extremities and the exterior organs and cells tend to thaw first. So the brain will thaw before the heart and lungs have thawed. So there's nothing to supply blood to the brain during the thawing process. So
what you're telling me, I hate to interrupt you, but what you're telling me is that because we couldn't thaw a human effectively, I can now have popcorn in 2 minutes or less.
Yes. Though it must be pointed out that the first microwave oven at all was not a countertop microwave oven, and it was developed for cooking food. So, but the first countertop microwave was for thawing out hamsters.
So here's the thing. I hear this argument all the time, right? Like, well, research science comes up with this shit. We have this because of research science, and like, well, but we didn't start out doing that. We weren't trying to, burn your popcorn. We were trying to melt a human. Whatever. So that tells me that scientists are really bad at what they do.
I'm actually curious about something. Peter Vanderfleet said, Tony, well, the penguin hater really has a hate boner for you and your views because he cannot defeat your science and logic. Who is the penguin hater?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm curious.
Oh, so we made an allusion to the penguin from the Blues Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Is that?
And then he also says, so an embryo without brains, etc. But we already have that. They're called frauditors, coded, chili, turtle shit, DMA, religious extremists, absolutely. Yeah.
Flat earthers.
We got plenty of them. Yeah. Daryl M says flat earthers are the failed thawing experiments. The failed ones.
They might well be. Yeah. So that's
who is Tony ever upset?
That's an excellent question, Clive. I don't know. Universally loved and admired. That's me.
But apparently, so yeah, rat kidneys can be cryogenically stored for up to 100 days, successfully rewarmed using a new innovative approach, cleared of cryoprotective fluids and nanoparticles, then successfully transplanted into rats to restore full kidney function.
And so,
see, now that makes sense, right? If we're talking about organ transplant, right? So that sounds like they actually did something they were trying to do, not, hey, let's microwave rat turds, and all of a sudden we've got maple syrup.
Number five on this list: the first vaccine for pregnant individuals to prevent RSV in infants.
That's important. Now, Tony, are you going to tell me they were trying to come up with a new flotation device for the water?
Well, vaccines are generally specific to the virus that they are concerned. But of course, famously, Viagra, for instance, started life as a blood pressure medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So a lot of your medications have sort of side effects that you're not necessarily banking on. But
you gotta love it. It lowers your blood pressure by sending it all to one area. That's how it works. It's like, less pressure because it's all down there.
I was actually supposed to increase your blood pressure, drive your blood pressure up. And it did it preferentially in one particular region of the body. So, and made some people happy. But
RSV is respiratory I don't know how to pronounce that word. SYNCYTIAL. Syncytial, respiratory syncytial virus, or
it's
RSV.
a coughing virus. Yeah, it's a virus that makes you cough razor blades.
There you go, respiratory syncytial virus. But yes, that vaccine has been approved, and it will prevent RSV in infants. Very cool.
That's important.
Yes.
Number 6, Earth has enough raw materials to switch to renewable energy.
We knew that already.
It showed that the world had a new study showed that the world has enough rare earth minerals and other critical raw materials to switch from fossil fuels to renewable energy to produce electricity and limit global warming. A team of scientists looked at the materials, many not often mined heavily in the past, in 20 different power sources. They calculated supplies and pollution from mining if green power surged to meet global goals to cut heat-trapping carbon emissions from fossil fuel. Much more mining is needed, but there are enough minerals to go around, and drilling for them will not significantly worsen warming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's interesting because mining is one of the industries where it's easiest to be carbon neutral. Because the slag that they dig up, they dig up this slag, this sort of crap, and they pour it into piles, and it yanks carbon dioxide out of the air and forms these super hard sort of concrete crusts. But it yanks enough carbon dioxide out of the air that it actually offsets the carbon expended getting it there. So
what you're saying is it's just like Irish Demon's shorts.
I'm not sure that Irish Demon shorts are necessarily
carbon neutral.
Okay, these next two are kind of sad. Or maybe a little sad, because sometimes because science doesn't worry about whether it's happy or sad. Science just worries about what's there.
Figuring
Number
out a way
7
to cause
is
Armageddon. Yeah.
the 6th mass extinction is on the horizon.
Oh, that's hardly news. I mean,
so a team at the University of Hawaii at Manoa calculated that animal genera are going extinct at a rate 35 times faster than expected. Than expected background rates over the past million years, which they say indicates the planet is experiencing a human-driven 6th mass extinction event that is accelerating. By extrapolating from estimates obtained for land snails and slugs, the team estimated that since the year 1500, Earth could already have lost between 7.5 and 13% of the 2 million known species, in between 150,000 and 206,000 species. The history of life on Earth has been marked by 5 events of mass biodiversity extinction, and the researchers say that a 6th is currently underway, caused entirely by human activities.
Yeah, this is sort of well known. Particularly if you look at the data, something like we've lost something like 3/4 of our insects over the past 50, 60 years. So and it shows up in a lot of different ways. But yeah, I'm not sure that'll generate that much power. But actually this feeds into something that I was talking about only yesterday. In Japan, in Shinjuku Station, they've laid down a sort of a spongy layer on top of all of the surfaces there, so that as people walk, they generate electricity. So the energy of their weight going up and down, they're generating electricity as they walk. And Shinjuku Station has about 2 million people a day wandering through it. So it was sort of, they just thought about it and thought, well, let's make them all generate, a rat's ass worth of electricity, but to multiply it by 2 million times, and it'll contribute. So there are a lot of
awesome.
Yeah, there are a lot of interesting ideas going around out there, but climate change isn't going to be solved by any one in particular. We need to sort of be pursuing them all at the same time. I do want to actually call out Thunderfoot. This is not something I've had an opportunity to do, because he produced a 3-episode series on climate change, and he debunked some pretty shithouse ideas on how to combat it. But his was not actually better. He pointed out that shortly after World War II, the planet cooled. That's a joke.
The plasticine layer. Yeah,
the Pleistocene.
It's the plastic layer that we've created.
So the Pleistocene was about 1 million years ago, back to 5 million years ago. Actually, we are entering a new geological age, which is called the Anthropocene, which is based on the perceptible effects of humans. And that started. It's based on a geological record associated with a lake in Canada or something like that. I'm not sure of the details. But yeah, it's kind of been well established for a long time that actually we're killing off animals really, really quickly, and that's going to keep on happening. I'm a bit confused because the threshold, there's a threshold mass, and if your mass is above that, your chances of going extinct are much higher, and that threshold is about 3 kilograms. But I actually can't see house cats going extinct.
Thank you so much, Earth Skater. So glad to catch you, JL. Your videos are awesome. Thank you very much, Earth Skater. I appreciate that. You rock. Appreciate that support. Number 8 on this list is new record low Antarctic sea ice.
I mean, I'm sure next year it'll be a new record low, and then the year after it'll be a new record low.
Considering 2023 was the hottest year in recorded in record so far, so it's likely going to get hotter. It's literally like it's almost the end of December here in Oklahoma, and I'm North Oklahoma. I'm close to Kansas. Almost in December, I've got dandelions growing in my backyard.
Oh, it's raining right now out here. Yeah, we have
Yeah.
spring-like weather. Yeah, it was in the 60s today.
Yeah, and this is sort of the expected pattern, is that the nights will warm faster than days, and winter warms faster than summer.
So Aaron Reese says, leave it to jail to try to cheer us up from a rough year by bringing up the apocalypse. Yeah, that's how we do.
Well,
And,
I mean, I brought up Trump and then a bunch of other stuff. So I've really livened the mood here. I think my typical jolliness.
Left-handed Jedi says, how long before the Ross ice shelf falls into the ocean?
Well, that is the feature. The Ross ice shelf is actually over the ocean, so it's going to fall in. But if it goes, then a lot of the West Antarctic ice sheet is not going to be buttressed anymore. It is mechanical failure that is the big problem with ice sheets. It's not that they melt per se; it's that the edges melt, and then it starts falling into the ocean much faster than it used to. And then you've also got surface layer effects happening as well, and that's how you lose an ice sheet. We kind of think that the West Antarctic ice sheet is gone. It's bye, Raven. Take care, and season
Hey,
2.
Raven.
Thank you, Raven.
So we suspect that the West Antarctic ice sheet may be unsalvageable at this point. And so that's about 5 to 10 meters of global mean sea level, but that's probably over the course of several hundred years. But at this stage, we think that the dynamics that have been set up, it's too late to do anything about. So
you mean it's not going to happen in like a week like it did in that Dennis Quaid movie?
No, not. It's not going to be the day after tomorrow, or indeed the day after tomorrow. I had a colleague who received specific training in how to deal with the press after the release of that film.
Look, it's one thing, right, for people not to understand a complicated science, but what does that say about the human race when we look at a movie and we're like, well, it's some real shit?
Yeah, I mean, I've been guilty of it too, and it's amazing. I remember watching. I'm not sure if you remember in detail the film Executive Decision.
Oh yeah,
where Steven Seagal memorably
he dies early.
Quite early on. And they've got this.
I don't know if my fans are ready for me to die. Oh yes, we are.
Yeah, given a choice between you, Kurt Russell, and John Leguizamo, you're for the high jump, Stephen.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Yeah.
And
John Leguizamo. You hear John Leguizamo talk about that movie?
And there's a scene where he has to sort of defuse this bomb that has these, infrared lasers and this metal connection. It has to sort of he has to sort of reach through with this thing to sort of stop the firing pin from connecting. And we get out, and my brother, who's an electrician, goes, okay, for that, you get a bit of electrical tape, fold it a few times, and then you just ram it in as fast as you can. Because the machine is not going to be able to react fast enough. Like it's not magic. The machine is not magic.
It's like any movie that came out in the 90s before the internet was huge. The internet was magical. You remember the net?
Yes.
Sandra Bullock.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Hackers? It's like yes, the internet was magic. Yeah, it's all magic. Going back a little bit, a bit more positively. Number 9 on the list is the James Webb makes its first detection of crucial carbon molecule.
Yes.
Known as methylcation, CH3+.
Yes, that's metal cation.
Cation?
Yes.
Cation. Metal cation.
You're now there was a flat earther who came on.
Who did the same thing?
Yes, and called it cation.
Cation.
So
Well, now
what
I
you're
will
saying
say-
is JL is no better than a flat earther?
Well,
Oh
there's a
man,
That's
don't
wrong,
even.
Tony. That's just wrong, Tony.
It's like cathode. You remember cathodes? Cation.
Okay.
Electrode, cathodes, cations, anions.
Okay.
That's
cation.
why we have the glacial isostatic adjustment guy on, so he can teach us all this shit.
There you
Yeah.
go.
That's
See,
right.
I still remember.
I don't know everything, or I fuck up. I fuck up fast, and PhD Tony will catch me before I pick up steam.
Yes,
Absolutely. Will.
You will notice that there are a couple of cations. Yes. Try the flat earth.
So methyl cation, cation, right?
Yes.
Cation. Okay,
Yes,
methyl
cation.
cation. The molecule is important because it aids the formation of more complex carbon-based molecules. Methyl cation was detected in a young star system with a protoplanetary disk known as D203-506, which is located about 1,300 light years away in the Orion Nebula.
All right.
A lot of interesting stuff going on in the Orion Nebula because Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, however you want to pronounce that, that one in Florida, obviously there was the whoa, damn it, I had the word for it. Where if you were in Florida, if you were in the path of totality, Betelgeuse would have disappeared briefly,
Right,
and then come back up, and something was what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with an O. I can't remember the word for it, but there's a specific word that details when a star's light is blocked.
Occultation.
Okay, so yeah, occultation, yes. So it was very brief. It was only like 10, 12 seconds long, but for about 10, 12 seconds, Betelgeuse disappeared from the sky. And I wish I could have seen that. I'm just too far north for it. So
this is actually done. They use craters and bulges on the edge of the moon, and if a star goes very close, it'll be obscured by a mountain or a crater for a very brief period of time, and you get your amateur astronomers out recording when they can see it and when they can't see it, and this gives information on the shape of the moon.
And Robert Biter says, "Got to blow, guys. Merry Christmas. It's 5 p.m. on Christmas Eve here." Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much for hanging out. I do appreciate that.
Well, that makes him a Kiwi.
Oh no! Tony's gonna fight him.
Apparently, this molecule has never been detected in space before this, so that's an important discovery.
Yeah, but we have to keep in mind the fact that they were looking for spaghetti monsters, not molecules. So.
And Clive Wells says that was a battle station that caused the occlusion.
Okay.
Yeah. This fully operational battle system. Or battle station. Fully operational battle station. Yep. Aaron Reese says, I thought occultation was what PragerU said liberal colleges were doing.
Yep.
Love it. And number 10 was Human Genome Project advancements. In February, the NIH researchers developed and released an innovative software tool to assemble truly complete, gapless genome sequences from a variety of species. The software, Virco, grew from assembling the first gapless human genome sequence in 2022. In May, a rough draft of the human pangenome was published, consisting of 47 genomes from a cohort of genetically diverse individuals, including people from Africa, Asia, the Americas, and Europe. In August, researchers at NIST and many other organizations successfully mapped out the Y chromosome in its entirety, revealing the discovery of 41 additional genes. The advance improves DNA sequencing accuracy for the male reproductive chromosome, which can help identify certain genetic disorders and potentially uncover the genetic roots of others.
There you go.
Well, on all those advancements have just bored me to death. I gotta go. No,
I want to look at some of the cool stuff that came down the pipe, but a couple of scary ones there. And I see that the one that bothered Tony the most was creating embryos from from stem cells.
In,
That seems
in ethical terms, yes. In real terms, I actually think that one of the most alarming findings of the year didn't make it onto your list, and that is human susceptibility to heat.
PhD Sony's big PhD.
Yeah, that's right. So the humans lose heat by perspiration, but that isn't effective at 100% humidity. And the higher the humidity gets, the less efficient your heat loss becomes, your heat regulation becomes. And we used to think that the maximum wet bulb heat, or the maximum 100% humidity heat that humans could endure, was 35 degrees. And sure, that's true if you are a fully fit adult male in the prime of life, resting naked indoors. You can survive 35 degrees for a few
So I
hours.
can survive 35 degrees just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. A man in your physical condition, Johnny, unquestionably.
I mean,
But
you said resting naked in the comfort of my own home.
I also said in the prime of life and fully physically fit, but apparently that's it.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear that part.
Okay, but apparently for your average human being, it's actually more like 34 degrees, 34.1 degrees. And for a 65-year-old man, it's 33.1. Now, this doesn't sound like a major change, but it does mean that the projections that we've made about when temperature conditions are going to become dangerous for people are now a few decades earlier than they used to be.
Oh boy!
Because we were banking on the 35-degree number being right, but it turns out that it's wrong, and it's and so.
Fucking shocker! Science is wrong again.
Well, science is refining its estimates. But the good news is that for you guys, this is not such a huge problem. The people it is a problem for are India. In India and Saudi Arabia.
Sanity awaits it. That certainly explains Florida, and I would agree with that statement. Aaron says, what are the stats for being covered in Cheeto dust while sitting around naked on the couch?
Oh, no.
I would say high.
Cheeto dust would interfere with your heat loss.
It's a thermal blanket.
I think didn't that lady in Goldfinger die from having Cheeto dust rubbed all over her? Isn't that what happened in Goldfinger?
I don't know.
Goldmember, maybe.
No, God, I'm dealing with heathens. You remember in the beginning of Goldfinger, there's the Bond girl who gets allegedly killed by being painted in gold.
That's
yeah.
So let's look at Margaret
Before
Nolan.
Before you do this, hang on. Before you do this,
Margaret Nolan died at 76 back in 2020. Margaret Nolan, stage and screen actress whose gold-painted body was used as a canvas to project the opening credits of the James Bond film Goldfinger, and it was also briefly seen in the Beatles movie A Hard Day's Night, died October 17th of 2020 at 76
Now, I could be wrong. Hang on a second. I could be wrong, but I don't think Tony meant the person actually died. I think he meant as a part of the plot, the story, the film, the character died.
Oh, okay.
Yes, in the film.
And
they explored this.
You're talking about Jill Masterson, actress Shirley Eaton. Jill Masterson's gold-painted body in Goldfinger. I had the gold painted on me with a paintbrush. It was makeup with millions of gold particles in it. It took about an hour and a half to apply. So yeah, okay. So when Sean Connery discovers Masterson's body, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I have been up for.
Where I was misinterpreting that as Cheeto dust, but I think the opportunity for humor has kind of been drained out of this moment. Thoroughly.
And Clive, I apologize. I don't know Bond as well as I know some other things. So I apologize for that.
Aaron Reese says that they should have lived if they, but actually Mythbusters busted this. Turns out just not to be true.
Oh.
Well, I have to bust up this party because I've been up for 72 hours and I am absolutely fucked. So you awesome folks have a happy holiday, whatever it is you're going to celebrate. Tony, I think you're having like a kangaroo coming down your chute or something. Fuck. Oh no! Oh no! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Okay. All right, motherfucker.
That being said,
take it easy, Johnny.
You look after yourself, Johnny, and get some sleep. God damn it!
I'll do that or something.
All right. Peace.
There's the Christmas koala. The Christmas koala is coming to bring presents. I recently caught a horror film that was about it was an Australian horror film about the in the aftermath of the Australian wildfires. What the hell was the name of this fucking thing? Oh, son of a bitch.
Yowie. Bunyip.
No. It was oh damn it. It was the prehistoric koala. The giant koala Phascolarctos stertoni. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a movie about how it actually had survived deep in the bush, and the wildfires had exposed it. It had come out, and it was then running into people and killing them by biting their heads off.
All right. Now, I watched an Australian horror movie recently called Talk to Me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think?
I thought it was quite good. I thought it was interesting. Have you seen Smile yet?
I have.
Yes. Well, I can now tell you what my issue is with Smile.
Oh, okay.
So, the spoiler alerts for this film coming up. If people are interested in seeing this film and don't want it spoiled for them, but it is explained in the first 5 minutes, so I'm not blowing anything. The evil entity causes hallucinations.
Right.
Changes perception of reality, changes behaviors, and encourages self-destructive activity. And a mental health professional doesn't respond, okay, put me in isolation. Go up to a mental health unit and say, I'm seeing things, my behavior is changing, I'm becoming unstable, and I present a risk to myself. And they will stick you in a maximum security mental health unit to keep you alive. What now, motherfucker? What's your next plan?
Well, at that point, the entity would then possess her.
Yes.
And then she'd be stuck in a padded room with in a straitjacket with a smile on her face till she died. And then I don't know what would happen to the entity after that, because the entity requires someone to witness the next unaliving. They have to see that in order to pass it on to the next person.
Yes.
So.
But it just struck me as, well, you're a mental health professional. These are the symptoms that this thing causes. You need therapy.
Absolutely. And I don't, Martin says it's sad to see him exposed like this, really. Okay. So I don't know the Bond franchise that well. Apologies. Okay.
Well, I mean, and that's fair enough, but it's like, if I were asking you the name of the Russian assassin From Russia with Love, okay, that's one thing. But though it is one of the most famous fight scenes in cinema history, but but really, the dead girl from Goldfinger. This is such an obscure reference that I need to drag people through. Anyway.
Killing me. Lolly 77 says, "Feel better, Tony."
Well, thank you, Lolly. Yeah, no, Lolly's a bit concerned about my dizziness. No real diagnosis, and it's less intense sometimes and more intense other times. Sometimes.
Are you still dealing with after effects? After like?
Well, there's no diagnosis, so we don't really know what it is. But yeah, sometimes just sort of even this sitting upright for too long will just sort of get to me, and I'll need to lie down for a bit. So.
Well, dang, if it happens, yeah, you definitely let me know. Well, I'm sure that you will. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, man, oh man. So earlier there was some context that somebody brought up that, and I totally forgot the context somebody brought it in, but I released a video. Are you a Reacher fan of the Reacher series on Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did a video, and I don't know if you watched it, the Alan Richardson one. So apparently that made somebody mad. Explaining, how logically it plays out that if God selectively grants wishes, it technically amounts to a violation of free will because of the impedance that it puts on people selecting whether or not they believe, or like leaning towards a belief or not. So there's an impedance there. And he got mad. He says like, "No, I didn't know what I was talking about." The guy goes by the name Coded, and he was doing a review of my video, and Shiz messaged me and was like, "Hey, this guy's doing a review of your video. Why don't you go and check it out?" And this is not my finest moment of 2023, but he invited me to come up on his StreamYard, and I did. And I was like, sure, why not? I got time. This was on Wednesday before the Week in Horror podcast, and not my finest moment. I didn't know that he was a Sovcit as well. He's technically, by my estimation, he's a Sovcit Christo-fascist, and holy shit. So I don't think right now, I have any business dealing with these kinds of people because I lost my shit and I detonated on him. I called him a fucking moron on his own stream because it was like when I said, "Do you agree with the statement A equals A?" And he was like, "Well, yeah." And it's like, okay, so God equals God. He did not understand that I was using logical notation in order to indicate A equals A is not equal to not A. It's like he didn't get that. He didn't know what an internal critique was. He didn't understand the very basics of these things. That when I do it, and then he would say shit like, "I'm doing an internal critique. Internal critique is where I grant a premise of your argument, and then I explore the logical entailments from there, and I look at it from there." And he was like, "Oh, so you do believe?" And I'm like, "No, I'm granting it for the purposes of the argument." And so he would do shit like that. That whole kind of like ask a silly question because I don't really understand what you're saying, so I'm doing it in a mocking way to make you look stupid. You're familiar with that shit?
Yep.
I was not, because I don't typically have conversations like that with these individuals, and so I was not well behaved.
Well, it's the central premise there is, and this is what I was alluding to with sort of the right wing, the way right wingers tend to argue in general. They're not honest interlocutors, so they're not there for an honest exchange of ideas. What they're there for is to actually confound the opportunity to communicate and to get to a problem. And you'll see that very often, and sort of to turn it into ridiculous talking points. One of the favored political mechanisms is to say, well, your solution isn't perfect, and so we may as well stay where we are. So it's not going to entirely fix the problem. It's like, gun violence isn't going to be solved by gun regulations entirely. It's like, okay, but it's going to help. There's not one policy decision that you make in response to a problem like that. That's a typical right-wing style. But it gets very frustrating once it becomes clear that what they're here for is just to make a conversation not happen. I find it intensely frustrating, and I tend to lose my shit when I encounter such a thing. Especially if I'm doing my best to be polite about it. I will detonate on somebody if I feel like they're doing that.
Turns out it's a massive pet peeve for me because I hadn't been in a conversation like that before, and people use tactics on that, and I got really fucking snide and would be like, "How do you how do you presume to talk?" I thought I came off as like really condescending. It's like, how the hell do you think you can talk about these things? You don't even understand what logical notation is. You don't even understand what the basic concepts are of what a logical entailment is. And Peter Vanderfleet says, I thought you were excellent. You can only discuss things logically if the other person is honest and informed. And for your information, he is a moron who's been attacking Welsh News Network for months. I did hear a bit about that. And then, of course, because I had to leave because I had to go to Week in Horror, because I told him I have a live stream at 7. I have to prep for it. I have to make sure that I'm all set for that one. And because it was a solo show, so I need to make sure I was on point. And he was like, when I had to go, he was like, he did the whole right, you're running away kind of thing. So it was just gross. Good night, Pinworm. Pinworm says, good night, everyone. Sleep is calling and won't take no for an answer. Merry everything and Happy New Year. Thank you so much, Pinworm. And Martin H as well. Time to quietly sneak out and bid everyone a very happy Christmas. Thanks a lot, Bridge the Divide. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Martin. You rock. Appreciate you hanging out. Gowdens Rabers just popped in. Good to see you, Gowdens. Pinworm, this was over on his channel. I hate to send him a view, but I can't remember the freaking name of his channel. It was like NTFG is the name of his channel, and you'll see it. Like if you go to it's like NTFG hyphen SFW, and if you go to that channel, you'll obviously see it. It's a live stream, and he used my face. Like I'm on it, and he chose a picture where I'm making a funny face. So I'm like, ooh. So you'll recognize it the minute you see it, but it's on his channel. I did not mirror it over to mine. I don't really need to because it's just ridiculous. But it's there. If you want to see me act like a complete idiot and be condescending and just mean because he pissed me off, because I let him piss me off, I think I'd like to think I was, but apparently not. Apparently you hit me up with a pet peeve. I'm gonna lose my fucking shit especially because I think it was my condescension in response to his condescension, and so now I know what it's like to argue with flat earthers. I think.
Yeah, they've got a. I mean, to be brutally honest, the arguments that climate denialists use are exactly analogous to the arguments that that flat earthers use. So it's just the same conversational strategies and the same sort of refusal to engage in good faith in a discussion or an exchange of ideas. So it's and it's incredibly frustrating. Then what's the point in this?
Right.
And it's. I think they deserve it, and to be brutally honest, I don't feel like anybody in his audience. If somebody's watching him, then they're there because they already buy into his ideology. So it's not really a loss. I wouldn't necessarily kick yourself too hard over it.
Yeah, Rodney's name says Coded is or was a Chile de Castro supporter, and apparently, because he brought that up, is like, well, you like he said I was obsessed with Chile, and I'm like, I haven't covered Chile de Castro's content since I think I did it one time after I went down to Tahlequah to meet him personally, and to actually be like, because I wanted to see, does that bravado hold up when the person's standing in front of him? Challenges on the internet, everybody's got balls the size of fucking Everest, but. Yeah. I want to be like, well, if I'm standing in front of the man, I want to, or the man child, I want to see what I see. It's like, does it hold up? Is it consistent? It's not consistent. The man's the boy is a frigging coward, is what he is. So, Peter Vandefleet says the penguin hater was, of course, Sovereign Soul. Oh, Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, who still mentions you negatively regularly.
Well, is that the guy I spoke to on Schrodinger's cat stream?
It might have been. I met him when I went out to West Virginia with Irish for the Chad Gu fight. I ran into him there, and when I met him, he was pretty cool. But online, like on his streams, that dude is salty as fuck. Like, I mean, he really got mad at me about, because, you know, he's a Christian as well, and he's posing these. He's got a kind of like a new age Christian kind of thing going on, you know, like how he reconciles this shit. But the problem is he's reconciling his complete misunderstanding of Christian theology with his complete understanding of scientific theories and shit. So he doesn't get either one, and he's taken two bad concepts or two malinformed concepts and amalgamated them into this Frankenstein, you know, new age theory shit. It's fucking insane.
I can honestly say I've got no idea who that is. Okay. All right. Well,
he's kind of a thin dude, kind of an older, thin guy. Bearded one who was first anti-Chilean, now is very flat Earth only. He kept claiming you were not a real scientist.
Okay. Well, he can go fuck himself, can't he? Yeah, and this is something I hear a lot. You don't behave and talk like the people who taught me when I was at university. No, I absolutely don't. I'm not like the people who taught you at university. My upbringing was very different from that a lot of people at university go through. I went to one of the poorest schools in my state, and I was raised in a way that ended up with me speaking my mind, and sometimes this upsets other scientists that I interact with. Sometimes it will put an entire room of people offside with me, but that's how I talk. So you may not think I'm a scientist. That doesn't matter. The journals that I submit papers to do think I'm a scientist. So, but whatever. The beliefs, the esteem of delusional fuckwits is not something that I prize highly.
You don't think PhD Tony's a scientist? Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was I know that I honestly I thought I could have behaved better. I thought I could have gone a little bit better, but obviously I let him get to me, and if I ever find myself in a situation again, now I'm aware, and I think I will behave. I'll behave a bit more. I'll be a bit more reserved. I'll remember, like I want to hold myself to a higher standard, and science communication is one thing, and when you run into the shocking thing is that Rono says Tony's not a real scientist because he's not wearing a lab coat.
Yeah.
Where's your lab coat? I can't believe you unless you're wearing a lab coat. How do you expect me to continue shocking this person on the other side of the wall if you don't have a fucking lab coat on? So I thought it was like, I get that, but it got to the point where I was using extremely basic terminology, and I got picked up that he wasn't grasping what I was saying, and like he thought that an internal critique was something that you did like in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Is internal, and I was like, yeah. So it's so fucked up because what do you do in that situation? Because if you just I could bounce. I could be like, man, fuck this. You are not equipped to talk about these things. And the bare minimum, please get educated and then leave. They'll be like, ha, look, you ran away. And then they're going to spin it in their favor. And I know that doesn't matter. Ultimately, I shouldn't give a shit. But then there's that part of me that kind of like maybe that down home country part of me that's kind of like, I'm not giving you the fucking satisfaction,
Yeah.
So.
That
modified sniper medic was a butcher. Not like a modified sniper. We know. Yes, thank you, Clive Wells. Mark Caesar says his lab coat was eaten by chemicals, like a scientist.
Well, I'm told that there are two types of lab coats. There are lab coats that protect you from the lab, and there are lab coats that protect the lab from you. And those ones should be clean. The ones that protect you from the lab, they get eaten by chemicals and they get stained and dirty and what have you. But the ones that are supposed to protect you protect the lab from you, yeah, they're supposed to be pristine.
Nice. Man, oh man. Dang, we're going a little over 3 hours now.
Yes.
So this has been awesome. This is awesome. I've got a couple more little jingle bell things left. I'm almost out of them. I should have got 2 boxes so I'd have lots. But let me see. Clive says, "Are you sure that's PhD Tony and not Daniel Pratt?" It's such an
Difficult
old
to tell
reference.
apart. There's no sure way to know.
Ronald says, "For those who missed it, Jam Truth was wearing a butcher's coat and not a lab coat." That's true. He was. That was a butcher's. I don't even know. It's a butcher's coat is what it was, because you could tell by the way it secured up on him. So, but definitely not a lab. How does that not even possible? You literally lab coat is so fucking cheap. Just order it's like $15, $20 online. Lab coat. It's so fucking easy. Ridiculous. Oh, so clip some to my mustache. Well, like I said, I've got 3 left, and they might interfere with my ability to talk. I don't know about that, but those are as soon as if any more super chats come in, then I'll be glad to clip them somewhere. I might be running out of room on the beard. I'm not sure. And yeah, Steve6464 says there's no water heater behind Tony.
Yes, you've got a clear view. You can even see my front door.
So I'm curious. So going into 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So what plans do you have as far as your content or what's going on, or has IRL science stuff become more is taking precedence?
So I'm behind on my work, and when I can sit up and sort of concentrate, I tend to be doing work rather than content stuff. But I am working on some content stuff, just albeit slowly. I sort of lost a lot of motivation in the move process. It sort of threw off my rhythm. Apparently, Ollie's on his stream. Okay, well, I guess I might have been, but whatever. There are a lot of people I talk to, and I cannot be bothered to remember the names of flat earthers.
You're not important enough to remember.
Well, just terrain, and there are. I know that there is overlap between the sovereign citizens and the flat Earth community, so it's hardly surprising to me that I piss people off. But I don't need their. I don't need them. He can talk to his followers as much as he wants, and he can say whatever the hell he wants about me. I couldn't care less.
Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, he threw you off the stream several times. Didn't like you talking over or you talking when he was talking over you. Yeah, that sounds like sovereign. That sounds like sovereign soul. Janice is here. Says hi all, JL and Tony. Great to see you. Thank you so much, Janice. Good to see you. And apparently, it was where I asked you about the MH17 crash / shooting down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I got a vague recollection of that. And this is again where one of the organizations that did a lot of the investigative work into MH17 using publicly available materials was Bellingcat. They used a lot of truck dash cam footage, mobile phone posts, social media content, etc., to reconstruct what had gone on, and they were able to identify the particular unit that had fired that missile and its retreat. And to hear Elon Musk describe Bellingcat as a psyops organization is just outrageous. Which comic book scientist superpower would you want to have?
Huh.
Well, I just being a comic book scientist is superpowers, because apparently they know all the science. and they can hack. I remember the physicist, in Iron Man 2, the Mickey Rourke's character just starts hacking into a system through this portal. Just apparently, just being a comic book scientist, you can do that sort of thing. You can hack into a security system. How hard can it possibly be? I'm a scientist.
That's how you do it. That's the benefit of being a comic book scientist, is that you have access to all the science that is necessary in the moment that you need it.
Yeah, exactly. I can just have a science knowledge skill, so I can. That would be good.
All right. Well, I think we're getting to the point. It's a little over 3 hours, and this has been fantastic. I didn't know if I was going to get to do any Discord stuff. I've had Discord pulled up and really haven't had an opportunity to have any discussions with anybody, and nobody's messaged me. So, because I think we're getting towards Christmas Eve, so it's getting a little bit slow. But I think that's about. I think it'd be a good time to call it there, because I think we're starting to wind down. It's almost 11 where I am. So what is that? 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 4 in the afternoon there for you, almost.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes. I know my time zones. But man, I do appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me. And we got John as well, so we got 3 of the 4. I don't know if we'll ever get the 4 together again, but one day eventually we will. I think it will take a mission from God in order to make it happen. But this has been a blast, dude.
No, well, it's been great to finally catch up and do a stream and talk to you.
Yes.
Weirdly, I didn't get your message for a long time. Facebook message. I think I would have gotten it faster if you'd sent it over Discord. So that's probably a more efficient technique in future if that ever comes up. But
Good.
Peter van der Vliet, the Dutch prosecution officers were able. The Dutch prosecution and the air crash investigation team really nailed that investigation. I mean, they reconstructed the plane. They were able to identify the shrapnel. They really did a fantastic job analyzing all of that. Anybody who claims that it's not been a closed case is spreading bullshit. Anyway, it's nearly 6 a.m. for Peter van der Vliet.
Definitely. Nearly 6 a.m. So that's 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 a.m. where it's almost 4 a.m. where Irish is. So I think Peter's in the Netherlands. So I think he's a couple hours ahead. So yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you hanging out and taking the time. It's been too long, and hopefully it won't be too long before the next one. And hopefully one day we can get all 4 of us together. That'll be a blast. Any big things you're looking forward to 2024?
Well, there are a couple of trials whose results I'll be very interested to see.
Yes.
That's what I'm kind of looking forward to, the legal process taking its toll on, doing its work at keeping people accountable. That's what I'm most looking forward to for the coming year.
Fingers crossed. Definitely.
And I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season. Look after themselves. Travel safely.
You as well, Tony. And I don't know whatever you celebrate, but are you traveling for the holidays?
No. Well, I'll be going to visit some of my relatives, but they live locally, so not real traveling.
Cool.
Well,
definitely have a safe one, and my best to all the family. As a matter of fact, I think your brother sent me a friend request on Facebook. So
is that Michael?
Michael, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, definitely my best to all of them. Thank you so much for hanging out, dude. Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
All right, boss.
No.
All right.
We'll see you later.
And Let's see. I Am Jedi said, is there a Discord link? Yes, the link to my Discord is down in the description. So you can join my Discord server there. It's called Week in Horror, but there's also a section for the bridge. There's a Bridge the Divide section as well for people to hang out and chat and do that stuff. And for those who had to bounce, I appreciate you hanging out. Thank you very much. Oi boy, have a great one. Thanks so much. Steve6464, appreciate you hanging out. This has been awesome. This is a good one. This is a good hangout. You know, to kind of like sit down. I didn't know that we were going to get two of the beardsmen on, but I was hoping something would happen, and of course, I got very, very jingly. So, but yeah, this was an absolute blast. Oh man, I was kind of hoping that eventually someone would pop in to the Discord, and I could probably have like a conversation because I haven't done that in a while. But this would be a lot of fun. But yeah, so much to do. I have so many things coming up in 2024. So, like I said, one of the big things that I want to do, and it requires some planning, and obviously, you know, what I bring in via live streams is going to go towards paying for that road trip, because I want to make sure I cover it appropriately, do all the necessary work, and make sure I have all my bases covered. So that's where that's all going, is to help me out with that. So I'm looking forward to making that road trip eventually. You know, gas up the car and hitting those states, and you know, doing every one of the devil's chairs. But I have other stuff that I want to do as well. Not to mention, so I got more content coming up 2024, and definitely more stuff on Week in Horror. Week in Horror is currently in season 5, so that is trucking along, and we'll go along. So we're doing that every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central. All kinds of good stuff. I'm not sure what my next video is going to be. I have several options that I have, like, you know, I have a response to Gothics and a response to Colin Miller, and because Colin Miller did a pretty hateful video regarding the LGBTQ community. So, but I've got, you know, stuff to cover. So, you know, you never know. Whatever comes up, whatever is interesting, or maybe, you know, over Christmas, some, you know, big name theists will do something insane, and we'll get to cover that. But yeah, it's been an absolute blast. So for me, it's been a fantastic 2023, and I want to send out a huge thank you to everybody. Because you got me over 6,000 subs. That was kind of the goal for the end of the year. I wanted to break 6,000 before the end of the year. That was going to be a lot of fun. And fortunately, during the course of interestingly, during the course of the live stream, no trolls popped in. You know, I guess the trolls are off doing their own thing, but no trolls popped in. Nobody, you know, talked crap, which was really, really cool. Nobody challenged me to any conversations, and it was pretty chill. You know, I guess the holiday season does kind of chill people out. So this was a lot of fun. This was great stuff. So look forward to more content from Bridge the Divide, and I guess for what did he say? I guess it was let me see who asked for it. Foxy. I guess Foxy wanted to see this because why not? So there's one in the mustache. There's 2 in the mustache. And there's 3 in the mustache. So there we go. That's all the jingly janglies that I had to go. So, those are really, really uncomfortable. Those are super uncomfortable. Oh, man. So there you go, Foxy. That one was for you. You got 3 free bells. 3 free bells for you. Casey Cooper's been a member of the Godless Army for 10 months. Thank you so much, Casey, for that support. I appreciate it. And Peter Vanderfleet says, I do not miss some people on the Sunday religious discussion stuff. Peter will not be missed. It was more drama than informative discussion. Things got kind of chaotic on that platform. Things got a little bit chaotic. I mean, T-Jump pretty much took it over. It's pretty much his show now. We're thinking about possibly doing it again and starting it up and keeping the panel small. You know, is what we, you know, I hope that we can eventually, that we can get that going again, because that was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. I want to do it more. And, you know, it was fantastic. It was informative, but I don't want the drama. I don't want the personal shit going on. I want to have just legitimate conversation. So hopefully one day we can get that kicked off again. Fingers crossed. Peter Vanderfleet, who's been a member of the Godless Army for 12 months. Thank you so much, Peter, for that support. I highly appreciate it. Helps me do all the stuff that I do here. So yes, have a great Jelly God Festival season, and of course, a great Festivus for the rest of us. Yes, definitely have a safe and happy holiday. If you're visiting family, if you're traveling, or if they're coming to you, I hope everybody stay safe and do all, have fun. That's what it's time for. And a huge giant thank you to every single one of you channel members out there that support the channel and all the super chats that came in. This is an amazing stream. I really appreciate it. I'm going to put all of that to excellent use in doing more stuff for the channel and having more exciting adventures and stuff like that, and kind of branching out and doing new things. So I appreciate it all very, very much. So thank you for hanging out with me. It's been almost 3.5 hours, and this has been an absolute blast. So, that's pretty much it. And if you know it, so happy holidays, everybody. I am JL. This has been Bridge the Divide. I know I'll try and stream live more often than not. But as always, be safe, be excellent to each other. And together, we can bridge the divide.